Look at the Noti gang. I mean, really just take a good gander at him. I'm checking in with the congregation. What's up, legends? What the entirely realized fuck is going on with you? Glad to see you, man. Chat, we're going to be able to say that we were here for a bona fide moment in sports gaming history. We got the deep dive today. 6 minutes worth of video. Has my heart racing. We have a dual monitor setup, fully functional right now. All right, ready to rock. As soon as this thing pops up, we're locked in. Dynasty deep dive is today, and a boatload of notes. A boatload of notes. Apparently, many pages worth. So part of the show today, I'll make sure I'll holler about it way in advance. We'll put up a pinned message to make sure nobody thinks they're getting ignored. But part of the show is going to be me just straight up reading the entirety of the deep dive, beginning to end, top to bottom. Just reading it. I'll record it. Throw it out there for folks who can't be bothered to read it themselves. I'm a big audiobook guy. All right, so we're fulfilling that need today. No pause whatsoever as well. And that's going to be the plan for the day. I mentioned this last week, I think. Last week, 2 weeks ago. We got like probably 5 minutes before this video goes live. I mentioned it sometime last week. I got something really cool going on. I hate being a tease. You guys know this about me. I genuinely dislike this. But though it is indeed for the channel, it's going to have me, our streams are going to be a little shorter this week. I'm not going anywhere, obviously, and then we're gonna kind of be back to business as usual. And then we got the final ramp up before college football drops on the 16th. But it's going to make for a little bit of scarcity. You just got to take my word for it for now that it's just congregation to the moon. You guys have put us in a crazy spot. I'm not gonna give it no hints or indications or anything like this. But awesome stuff. I'm going to be a little scarce, a little bit through the week. So we're thinking kind of like just normal morning shift. But man, can't wait to share that with you guys also. And it's not too far out at all. That's great news. Today's going to be so fun. Can't wait. 3 minutes till this thing clicks on. I've been yapping. I'm speaking Japanese for a better part of 5 minutes. Speaking with the congregation, man. Who's in the channel? What's the good words with you legends, McClure, with the big check-in? Oh, the open it up. It's 103. That's an entrance. That's a Big Daddy-O entrance for a Big Daddy-O. Hear me out on this. McClure, what's up, man? Zeke checking in. You can't see me. He's got the worst name on Twitch. I see him every day. What's up? You can't? Goddamn pleasure and honor. JT, what's up, nephew? What's happening, man? Gertie, 42ndeth.
My boy.
Indeed.
My boy.
High voltage with the follow.
My boy. My boy. My boy.
What's up, Voltage? Sorry, big commotion upstairs. Everything is indeed just fine. Gertie, what up? Pyro Man Yames, checking in. Pyro, this is a big day for us, bro. We're going to get some actionable information, I think, here. Izzy Town, what's up, fellas? 13 days, man. We're so close. Izzy, big check-ins. Brother OT on a check anything? Yeah, we sent noties every which way, bro. You know, we got the DMCA free music on. We're multi-platform casting. Izzy, it was a great hustle, bro. McClure's tough to beat. McClure is tough to beat. To the gate there. Finney, what's good, Daddy-O? Oh, so checking in, McClure. There he is. Terrell, good morning, bro. Good to see you. Big Snells. How to check in. We didn't air horns for the folks. Oh, Zeke, dude, we're right here. Hold up. Let me make sure. I think I have to switch this around, don't I? Yes, I do. There we go. And also, I'm gonna stash me over yonder. Yeah, we'll go stash mid left here. Mid left positioning, because I'm looking at this monitor, right? Yeah. Okay, hearing you out. All right, we're in a good situation here. We're in a good situation. All right, y'all get comfortable. We're here. You're going to get to say that you were here for this. Dynasty deep dive and all the notes that you could shake a stick at. I promise you that much. I promise you. Oh, my God, Terrell, dude. I'm going to read it with such passion and such clarity. The enunciation, bro, is going to go crazy. How now, brown cow? How now, brown cow? Me. Dude, I've never been more ready for something in my entire life, honestly. I feel like I was made for this. I'm going to keep it real. Everything's been leading up to this moment, you know? Mr. Red, 33 months into congregation, hear about? 13 more, bro, we're so close. Mr. Red, man, in honor. Thank you for 33. Dude, the long re-ups are crazy. Thank you, man. Sticking with me through the thing. McClure, I gotta stay frosty, stay crispy. I'm almost done with my coffee. All right? You're gonna get my best effort, I promise you that. We're gonna go crazy on an audiobook, dude. I'm cutting background music, literally just reading the whole thing. Giving her all she's got, Captain Rose Bowl. Good morning to you as well. What up? Izzy, dude, that's what I was hoping, that we might be able to get people the information who can't necessarily devote eyeball attention to it. Oh my God, dude. All right, nobody panic. It's important in a situation like this that nobody panics, right? Keep it together. We're going to get through this. This too shall pass. Oh, God. McClure, I'll DM you. Wizard Kelly, what up? Yo, high voltage, what's good? You already got the logo cooked up? Come on, man. Oh, you're super ready. I'll go back full volume, full blast once I actually kick on. Moan, Hitstick Hero, checking in. What's up, my guys? Look at the dudes in the channel. And Brother Christ, 38 months in the congregation. I'm a few minutes behind. Christ, man! Wow. 33, and now Christ with the 38 piece. Big check-ins. Christ, you ready to toad on these folks in this game or what, bro? What's up, Ron? Good morning, good morning. Oh, no, McClure. Yeah, no, heck with that, dude. I'm all set on triple digits. Nate, oh my gosh, dude. 47 months in a row, Nate. Dog. They should, bro. Take advantage of this hype. Have it linked in the deep dive. Rafington, buddy, what up? And McClure with 103 hype train biddies. McClure, thank you. Badger, what up? Mr. Sex, 3 years. Nate Dogg, Mr. Rex, boys, thank you for the big hype train. Church Stein in the congregation. I'm not gonna talk during the 6 minutes, all right? I'm checking out for now. Yeah, Church Stein, I'm probably gonna talk a little bit. I'm probably gonna have something to say. Church Stein, Stelzy, come on! Rocks, Pendant!
Hey everyone, Kirk Herbstreit here with EA Sports College Football 25, back for another deep dive. This time we're talking about everyone's favorite mode, Dynasty. Online Dynasty in College Football 25 can accommodate up to 32 teams, and you can play with friends for up to 30 seasons. Today,
up to 30 seasons long.
The new 12-team college football playoff, recruiting, the transfer portal, and a ton of customization options to make your program
Transfer
unique.
portal?
College football has seen seismic changes over the past few years. And in EA Sports College Football 25, you can experience this new landscape while building your program the way you want. The 2024 season marks the debut of the new 12-team college football playoff, and you can play it first in the game months before the real thing. You could be the first coach to lead your school through the new 12-team playoff and hoist the college football playoff trophy. Recruiting is the lifeblood of college football, and in a world of unlimited transfers, managing your Dynasty roster has never been more important. Evaluate your needs and opportunities for talent upgrades
There's
at
a
the
lot
start
here.
of each season. The best way to build a powerhouse is to recruit through the high school ranks. So let's fill up your recruiting board. Each year, over 3,500 high school recruits are generated from all over the country.
3,500 per year?
World hotspots for blue chip talent, like South Florida and Metro Atlanta. Do research to find recruits that best fit your program and determine who you can realistically land. A recruit's interest in your school is decided by 14 different pitch grades like proximity to home, playing time, and brand exposure. So you'll need to discover how your program's pitch grades align with your recruit's desires, in addition to scouting for talent.
Hey, appreciate the follow, bro.
Some players have a deal breaker requirement, and if your program cannot provide, the recruit will lock you out. Deal breakers also drive a player's decision
Dicey.
to enter the transfer portal. Monitor at-risk players and get one last chance to convince your favorites to stay.
That's a W.
Track your recruits as they narrow down their top schools.
Ooh, so you can
Prospect
fight
to
the
gain
process.
more interest, and then set up school visits when the timing is right. It's crucial to remain in their top 10, then 8, then 5 to finally be part of their top 3. As a recruit trims down to the top 8, you can attempt to increase your appeal. If your school doesn't have exactly what the prospect is looking for, you can try to sway their opinion in your favor. Plan visits that elevate a recruit's experience, like pairing a quarterback visit with a wide receiver visit at the same time.
Complimentary visits for like a
It's
bonus.
crucial to keep an eye on the transfer portal when it opens in the offseason to round out your roster with talent you couldn't land from recruiting. Add portal prospects to your board just like you would with recruiting, but expect quick decisions as transfers have a shorter timeline to land a new home. Conference realignment is a hot topic in college football. And with custom conferences and EA Sports College Football
Custom
25,
conferences need this.
Dynasty is yours to control.
Nice.
See what a 20-team
We need this for
super conference
Connected
might look
Dynasty.
like, or revert to the traditional conference alignment. Shape the conference size and membership and set custom conference rules.
Oh, you
Set up
could change
divisions
everything
and more.
about it?
Once you've settled your conference options, it's
Including
time to
games?
select
Okay,
your
that's how
team.
you could. Okay, that
Begin
answers
with
so
a
many Dynasty
highly
questions,
ranked
Connected
team
Dynasty questions.
And dominate at the top with repeat recruiting and playoff success. Or build from the ground up with a smaller program and prove you have what it takes to go
Hell yeah.
from an unknown.
Yeah. It's
postseason
rebuild
favorite.
season 10.
We can't talk about
I'm
your
gonna have a heart
dynasty
attack.
without talking about your starting job. Start as an offensive or defensive coordinator and climb the ranks to head coach. Or take over a program as the head coach right away. Choose from one of the 3 base coaching types to start. Your coach type will determine what coaching skill tree you start with.
Okay,
From
familiar.
there, the abilities you acquire as you progress will determine what kind of coach you develop into.
Nice.
Unlock additional skill trees with better abilities. Or, if you build up multiple skill trees, you can unlock hybrid trees that leverage a more diverse skill set.
Oh my God, bro.
The coaching carousel is an important part of every coach's journey. Whether you're the head man at your dream school or working your way up, the carousel is your way of fielding offers from other programs. Head coaches in Dynasty can actively manage their coordinator positions. So if one of your staff takes a
30
job
natties in
elsewhere,
30
or you
years, could it
decide
be
to
done?
cut ties for other reasons,
Could it be
you
done?
can use the carousel to replace them. Remember,
No
even
way.
the
Couldn't be,
greatest
right?
coaches
No
need
way.
support, and every coach has a unique skill tree. It's important to think about how you want to build your staff, whether that's doubling down on your existing strengths to max out your benefits or seeking out balance for a well-rounded staff.
Mac and David,
Choose
what's
wisely.
up?
The decisions you make
AI,
here
what's happening,
will
man?
matter to
Good morning.
your program's success and your coach's progression. The benefits of coach talents are stackable. So if your head coach and defensive coordinator have the same ability, the impact for that ability will be greater. Well, that's it for today's deep dive into Dynasty mode in EA Sports College Football 25. To make it game day every day this season, pre-order the MVP bundle.
We're going to go from the top. Hold on a second. All right. Knee-jerk reactions. Knee-jerk reactions. Nate Dogg, crucial. Thank you. And here goes the deep dive. How long? Oh my gosh. Wait a minute. Hold on. Can y'all see the scroller? Hold on. Okay. We're going to read all of this. But first, we're just going to hit a scroll. All right? All right. So everyone take a deep breath here. It's first order of business, all right? This is huge. I think we want to see the 6 minutes of footage one more time. We'll stop a couple times, make some notes, make some commentary. We need to hit just the scroll first before we move on to reading this. Rox, I know I don't need to tell you twice, but if you would just for but a moment. I mean, Lazy Boy Tier 1's Big 23. Jordan Muntz from a GOAT in his own right. Lazy Boy, thank you so much, man. What's up, Imperial Teacher? Snake, what's good? Free Bill. So here goes the scroll. Still scrolling. Getting close to halfway. Oh my God, multiple stages. There's a pitch, there's a close. Sales Simulator 25, I fear. Still scrolling. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh, man. Little sensory overload, no question here. Scrolling is getting faster. We're still not at the bottom. Almost. Okay. All right. Packer, what up? They were not underselling the quantity of information here. The pictures break it up a bit, no question. Finish reading that by dinner. We're about to lock in, no question. Jorge, what up? Mortality in a congregate. It's a good gosh darn thing. You're in the right place to have someone just read this Jiminy Cricket to you. All right? It's a good gosh darn thing. All right. Packer, bro. I, too, am chilling. All right, let's watch the trailer one more again. We had YouTube check-ins from my man Experts Corner. What up? Yes, this is what we've been waiting for. This will, I think, it's not going to satisfy the appetite, but it will at least hold us over. It'll hold us over until it's time to go, I think. Because there's going to be a ton here. There is a ton here. All right. Here's what we're going to do. Missed the trailer? Not anymore, you didn't, buddy. Let's hit the trailer from the top. I'll
What's
pause.
up, everyone? I am not the expert. I played college.
Good G's. I can replay it, right? Yeah.
Hey everyone, Kirk Herb.
Okay. One more time for the top. We'll take a couple strategic pauses. You know we don't often pause in the channel, but in a situation like this, we can make exceptions. Let's see it from the top.
Street here with EA Sports College Football 25, back for another deep dive. This time we're talking about everyone's favorite mode.
Izzy, that's one of my favorite modes, is getting 5 bombs. That's my personal favorite mode, dude. Legend. Izzy, very kind, bro. Thank you for the big dono. Let's go. Buck Nutty, Blunt Double, Lynn, Thunder, and Kappa Jones on the receiving end. Come on, man, hear him out. I wanted to literally just get a peek of the actual menu, like the actual fucking opening menu. They have a whole training tab. They have a create and share tab. Okay, that's going to be probably, are we thinking that's going to be community file? All right, chat, we're overanalyzing. They gave us 6 minutes worth of stuff. We need to pull it apart. Is what needs to happen right now. Izzy, bro, big hype, man. Thank you again. Big Normie, checking in. What's up, bro? Look at Nightbot looking so fucking stupid. Still feel blue ball with no team builder announcement voltage. They might do that like with its own thing, right? Menu personalize, I'm sure, based on who you pick as your favorite team here, right? No question. The blog is 17,000 words or 85 pages. Should I be selling this? Should I be selling an audiobook? Is that actually how it should go? Subs only? Hold on. Can we cook a method off of this? I think maybe. Prod, what's good, baby? But I'm basking in just literally the title screen. I'm basking in it right now. And the ticket bottom right, also agree. Very sick touch. Detail, bro, I love what they did graphically. It feels like just an updated game that we love and miss, dude. I've got 14 sitting on the shelf right behind me. It whispers sweet nothings in my ear sometimes. It does. It certainly does. So here we go. You got Play Now, Ultimate Team, Road to the College Football Playoff. I think that's going to be like comp regs is what it seems like. Dynasty, and then you look tabs, your L and R scrolls. So this is a home screen. I don't know what, I mean, game modes potentially could have a couple more, but I think that's, or no, yeah, game modes will have to have Road to Glory over there. I'm curious to see what's going on the training tab. Do they streamline like practice mode, or like we just going to be talking? It'd be weird to give a whole bumper to like a tutorial type of thing. But we've not seen that before, right? Do they mean mini games? Hold up. Hearing them out. I'm curious once people start getting their hands on Road to the College Football Playoff, what that winds up looking like.
Favorite mode, Dynasty.
So we got confirmation. Coaching carousel is on. You could be offense. Well, I don't want to upstream. It gets to it in a second, but you can start OC or defensive coordinator. You get promoted, you move around, you can get offers elsewhere, even as a head coach, or potentially get promoted to head coach, but at a different spot. That's going to make for some fun storylines. I know people were hopeful that it was going to be back in the game, so that was great news.
Online Dynasty in College Football 25 can accommodate up to 32 teams.
We knew that. Here goes your team select screen. I loved it. Hold on. I don't want to glaze too insanely at 11 a.m. Make-A-Wish on a Tuesday morning. I don't. But can we just agree this is far superior to a scroll, to just a two-directional scroll where you have to figure out where shit's going to be alphabetically and you can't really see what's next. And dude, love this. I think this is going to be an underappreciated quality of life W here. Rings, what's up, man? Blick Doctor in the channel? And then we're like, ESPN Classic mode going to flip. I don't think ESPN has any, is roped into this at all. I don't think. KD Lake, what's up, man? Good morning to you, bro. The hype is at an all-time high, man. No question. Start playing Pokemon Yellow on your phone, Prod. I like a slow day like that. Nate Dogg, I can do that for you. Yeah, I can do that. You're a long-time sub. I can definitely get a little freaky for you. Glaze permitted? All right, I appreciate that. I need that clearance.
And you can play with friends for up to 30 seasons.
I wonder if they're capping connected dynasties at 30 seasons, but not offline dynasties. did we just hear a distinction there? Because they said the 30 seasons after he mentioned play with friends. That seems like it would make sense. That might get a little server heavy after that. My man Big Bird, bro, you and me both.
Today we'll take a closer
9 months in the
look
channel.
at
Thank you so much.
the new 12-team college football playoff, recruiting, the transfer portal.
Transfer portal is sick. Also got our questions answered that we will be able to see it coming in some ways. Like, we will be told about our at-risk players. You'll have opportunities to, like, stop that process. I think folks were potentially worried that it was going to be something like you wake up, week 10 and you're in waiting, you're in the wings, quarterback is just gone or something like this. And you didn't see it coming. You could do nothing about it because that would suck. That's an L gaming experience. I mean, a buck nutty. Glad you caught one, bro. What up? Everything looks great. Dude, graphically is insane. If you play 13s against friends, you won't be friends anymore. Probably so. The teams would probably be elite. Big Turk, what up, man? Coaching Dynasty is going to be awesome. I think today we're going to start taking at least interest in. We're going to try to do one league apiece, at least, to start. A PlayStation and an Xbox league. We'll keep it paid but modest. I think we'll go $20, but we'll put together some of that stuff after we get through the deep dive.
And a ton of customization options to make your program unique. College
there half
football
stars?
has
I don't
seen
think-
seismic change.
I don't think there was in 14, but for some random reason, I feel like there was in other games. Am I completely fabricating that? Any like gaming historians? That's like almost a gaming sports gaming trivia question. I feel like yes. I feel like I have seen half stars, but I'm nearly certain no in NCAA in 14, not in the last one. Big boy, what up?
Over the past few years. And in EA Sports College Football
Okay, Big Turk, checking back
25,
in.
you
Christ
can
as well.
experience this new
Love that for us.
landscape while building your program the way you want. The 2024 season
so
marks the
smooth.
debut program the way you landscape while
It
building
looks
your
so
program
good,
the
bro.
way you want.
It looks so good. I really think we're going to be able to tell that this game is not releasing on mother-loving PS4 or GameCube, respectfully, or any of these, or fucking Dreamcast, or any of these systems that we don't play on anymore. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. I'm going to be looking out for it, bro, because this is the first football game, and I believe including Madden 20. Is Madden 25 doing like another versions thing? Anyway, I do believe that this will be the first American football game only designed for current gen, specifically. I don't know why Madden didn't do this as well. I don't know. A couple things confuse me. I don't know why Madden doesn't do that too, and I don't know. I don't still understand why college football is launching without crossplay. I don't get that. Yeah, Joe Sis, what up, man? I think fair to say. Agree, KD. We don't. So this is as the first football game only on current gen, man.
Of the new 12-team college
I'm
football
really looking
playoff.
forward to what that feels like because they alluded to it a bit, especially in like something that takes like a lot of quick calculations, like an O-line and D-line interaction. This hardware is just more capable of doing things like that and presumably, hopefully, producing outcomes that feel good to the game, like feel good to the player.
And you can play it first in the game months before the real thing. You could be the first coach to lead your
Oh,
school
surprised by
to
that.
the
What's
new
up, Relentless?
12-team playoff and hoist the college football playoff trophy.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Did y'all see? Hold on one second. Is this guy onto something? Okay, check this out. EA Sports orchestrated attack on Ohio State. This is from a week ago. Hit an embarrassing new low today. The intricate details in their trailers are direct shots. The football's red, meaning Ohio State was on offense. A highlight is saying freshman safety DeJuan Lane, with 0 career snaps, took back a pick 6. Hilarious. I said, bro needs a hobby so bad. Like 1,000 people agreed with me. But I know it just happened, but we've not done historical celebrations. They are including the Michigan celebration here. Hold on. Ohio State fans, check in. Are we enjoying this? Are you enjoying yourselves?
Football. And in a world of unlimited transfers, managing your Dynasty roster.
Okay, real quick. Your scroll options here in, I assume, the recruiting heading. You got your recruiting board, your prospect list. I imagine prospects will move from the board to your list, I would imagine. Like as you target them and spend what looks over here to be time on them. I love a big hog. Big dogs. I love a big dog. In the trenches. O-line. Love O-line play. I love O-linemen. You know what I mean? You hear me out on this? No? All right. AD, what's up, man? Boring, what's happening there, nephew? My school, maybe guessing, telling you about what, where you're going to perform well. Also, looking at this menu down here, I think, okay, so it looks like you're uncovering whether they're interested or not in whatever aspect it is. This dude doesn't seem to be interested in much, which is crazy. Also curious, how many aspects they will wind up interested in at all. Did they say it was 14? 13, 14. Yeah, so 14 different motivations prospects can have. And I assume that by spending time scouting or talking to the player, you'll uncover the effect, how much weight they hold it. And right now, the only one that he's interested in at all is brand exposure. My man's a 3-star, 5'10", 182-pound receiver. I feel like he's probably putting a cart in front of the horse a little bit. This is not a guy that's going to be for my program. No question. Wishing Lewis Lucky the best in, wherever he winds up. They're a great kid in our interviews with him. But really, at the end of the day, that's not how we're looking to build our program. That's not the foundation we're looking to set. Build something on sand. It's going to fall down as soon as a storm comes a knocking. So that's really not what we're trying to build here on my team. But, I could understand how in today's NIL day and age that, folks are going to be looking for that. Talk to me about proximity, a guy that wants to be close to home. Talk to me about a guy who loves some program tradition. Okay, he went to the Hall of Fame when he was on the visit, right? He didn't get banged up. He wanted to wake up early, hit that Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? Walking in steps of giants that came before him. He was really taking it all in. You know what I'm saying? My man, your fate, 23 months in congregation. Your fate. What's up, baby? You should be able to, KD. The big uglies are the key to the whole operation. Experts, see, you're a ball knower. You understand that. You played golf the other day, AD, and you shot your first under par, 2 under. Bro, you had some, oh my God, you had some wiggle room there. Spectacular work, bro. Nice shooting, Tex. Yeah, so, this is Colorado. Yeah, this is the Colorado tab. Okay, so we are also getting, good eye, Weed In Boys. We are also getting a preview of what looks to be probably Colorado's oh, wait a minute. That makes this hilarious. Hold on. That means there's a joke. There's an implicit joke here. Coach stability. Getting a D+. Here in Colorado, that's tough. That's tough. I don't know if they're just doing it on tenure. I bet they're not. They can't possibly do it. Can't just be every, low tenure coach is going to be a low rating. That'd be all of the good ones. You know what I mean? At least anymore. That's hilarious, though. Okay, accidental jokes.
Been more important. Evaluate your needs and opportunities for talent upgrades at the start of each season. The best way to build a powerhouse is to recruit through the high school ranks. So let's fill up your recruiting board. Each
Okay,
year,
it's the
over
same.
3,500
Okay, here goes your prospect
high
list.
school recruits are generated from all over the country.
Nice. One of the ways it can describe what's going on, the stage that they're in, is a battle. Just in a battle. You know? This might not turn out the way you want to. You're in a battle for it. You're in a war.
With certain regions representing real
Okay, so this is someone who is like, you know, potentially actually playing out this, you know, they have targeted all of their positions of need here. This wasn't just somebody kind of throwing together a graphic. This is probably actually somebody playing this Dynasty here, which is kind of awesome. My man, Real Deal, dropping boys on 6,000 bodies in the congregation. Come on, man. Hype. Danny, let's get it. What's up, fellas? Ladies, gentlemen, it's glad to have you. Good to see you. You bought a driving net, put a putting green in the backyard after a month of moving to your house, and it helped big time? There you go. Can you play against PC, or do you have to be in a league, Packer fan? For Dynasty, no, you'll be able to play against the computer. Yeah, most people will be playing offline. It will be, I think, few and far between that there will be connected Dynasty modes. You know, the connected, I suppose, being the key to putting it online. That Texas pipeline is going to be crazy.
world hotspots for blue chip talent.
Okay, so this is just sorted by rank, interest, stage, state, pipeline? What pipeline? Oh, okay. Oh, okay, they have pipelines like grouped up together. Wait. They mentioned, I'm going to let the rest of the video play, but they mentioned something along the lines of like chemistries. I think that was between coaches. But how interesting would that be if like you got a bunch of guys that were all from Florida or something on the same team, and you got some like hometown chemistry? But I don't think that's what's
like South Florida
implied here. But
in Metro Atlanta,
cool.
Do research to find recruits that.
Yeah. So from the recruiting board, you're adding to your prospect list. Top right. You have up to 35 targets. I can't imagine this is per week. I got to imagine that's total. Yeah, it's got to be total because that would represent like essentially a freshman class, a big freshman class. Hours to spend, and then scholarships that, I don't know if these are scholarships that you've offered or scholarships that are out and like just scholarships that have been accepted. This also means that if you're able to figure out how the transfer portal, like if you could become a transfer portal guru, you could essentially build an all-star team. Really, you just target the best players every year. And I don't know if it'll let you do such a thing. Like, I don't know if you could be so good at it. It seems like there's a lot of depth here. Curious whether it's just the impression of depth and it's more just surface level. I think of like only in the way that you're spending time, like a mechanic, like you're spending time in Fight Night became very mundane. It did. It to me, it became very mundane and like boring and grindy. And I hope, and it seems like there might be some more weight on, your order of operations, what you're saying to who. They're interested in different things. It can't just be the same pitch all the time. There's strategies. I don't know if it was listed in this video, but we saw the screen of, strategies available that you can use depending on who you're talking to. So I'm hoping it's going to be significantly deeper than that, but I think they might have even used the same icon here. The presentation is very similar to how they had it in, I said Fight Night. I meant UFC.
Best fit your program and determine who you can realistically land.
Overview recruiting and scouting. So every prospect is going to have 3 tabs. This is a guess on it. Okay, so this is a 5-star. This is a 5-star recruit. You're getting their specific ratings and abilities. Trey can be learned early by pursuing the mind reader ability and the strategist archetype. So he can get a dev trait, 3 mental abilities, and 5 physical. Recuperation. Duress. That's the under pressure. Okay, hold on. They reused some logos at least. Hold up. Recoup, duress, grip breaker. He's an end, so that's got to be a pass rushing move. And pocket disruptor. 81 speed end. I mean, this is crack. This player would make a huge difference right away. 88 speed, 6'6", 302. Curious to see whether there's weight thresholds that have any, large bearing on player interactions. It seems like it will with the wear and tear system. They're kind of re-including fatigue as a game mechanic as a whole. A few times they've leaned into how the, interactions are going to feel when it's big bodies against small bodies, and there's going to be, backlash on defenders as well. Like there's going to be fatigue penalties on that side of the ball too. SMU back to dominance, Big Bird. Chat, who are you guys? What's the first Are we doing a rebuild first? I think I'm doing Rutgers. I think I also have to do a Colorado pretty much right out of the gate too, just because I feel like Colorado, like everyone wants to see what the heck that could look like, So Colorado's got to be in the conversation for at least one of them. But we have it's just, dude, the potential content from this game is truly infinite. It's so good. Plan to do Madden content still, mainly college football Packer fan. I'd like to do a combination, bro. I would like to, if possible, make as many people happy as I can. But yeah, bro, I'm looking forward to a refreshed Ultimate Team slate for Madden, so I'll definitely be in there for that. Yeah, I know Pipeline states, but it'd be cool if they did some type of like chem for it. The points from 14, Tilt, yeah, exactly. Tilt, what's up, baby? Signing day flips would be insane. Yeah, Big Bird, this is Ike an excellent. What's up, Hitstick Master? Sorry, bro. I got a relatively low-cost way to avoid all ads if you want. I'm also broadcasting on YouTube today, bro, and there's no ads there. I don't mind, plebes. If you'd rather watch ad-free, you could do so on YouTube today. Same broadcast, just no ads. And I have the chat up over there, too. Tulane was a team you always pick back in the day. Yeah, I'm rebuilding first. So what are y'all thinking? Well, first team you're taking. You're going Cuse. Take a Maryland to the history books. I like Maryland. I love Cuse as choices. Yeah, Hitzik, always good to see you, bro. South Carolina, DC Sandstorm every week. Dude, you might have to pick based on like a cool pregame tradition too. I'm with that because they did the presentation crazy here. All right, so this is actually high-key a great prospect.
A recruit's interest in your school is decided by 14.
Idaho's not in it? What do you mean, with the Vandals? What do you mean? Knowles, Wisconsin? I mean, a sports game and check it in. Washington first school. Okay, no surprise from you there. Yeah, I feel like most people going more or less hometown. No, Hitstick here. You're Hitstick. This is Master. I can't call him. I'm going to have to call him full form Hitstick Master. Hitstick Master 2. They dropped to FCS. I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, chat putting me on. You got Notre Dame from the Random Wheel Selection Show. Real deal. They'll be competitive early. Wait, hold on. Is this Colorado? Oh, no, this looks like, was this Penn State? I think this was Penn State at the earlier screen. Freezing it hype about the game. Don't trust EA/Fear. Brother, how hard do you gotta try to not get hype about this game, man? I feel like it just has to turn into a question of where are you spending your energy? Well, you gotta be, what do you just have your eyes closed? And it's like, oh no, dude, I'm sure this all looks awesome. It looks great. It sounds great. The Dynasty deep dive is sick. They just gave us 80 pages and 6 minutes worth of video of all features we've never seen before and everything we've been asking for 11 years. Come on, baby. It's all right to be excited. It's all right to be excited. If you're going to get disappointed, you're going to get disappointed anyway. At this juncture, it does not make any sense to not be so excited, bro. It just does not compute to me. It just doesn't. What's up, Brado? Texas Tech? Checking in on YouTube. Good to see you, man. Yeah, Voltage. I'm not trying to hear that. UCF would be cool. Valid to pick based on uniform options, too, honestly. Masked up even more so. We saw a bunch of mocap stuff where they were in the thick of COVID. Everyone was masked up. Journey, agreed. Big Bird, we're so fucking close, man. We are right there. Rafe, you being weird? Weird Rafe alert? Peters, what's good, man? Warm welcome. Yeah, 11 Charlie, bro. Everything else is going to fall by the wayside, I think. Skip the Wild Ultimate Team is very fair. Agreed. And Dynasty looks like they paid time and attention to it. Agree, Packer, yes. What is this now? Okay, we're going to get to this. Search social media. Spend some time scrolling through the player's social media to learn a bit more about them. This will also give you a small amount of influence when you see you like their story. Just be careful to not like an image from 3 years ago. What do you mean? What? I thought you were joking. I thought you were actually joking. That's hysterical. And you could DM them. Okay, sketchy. That's hilarious. Love that.
Different pitch grades like proximity to home, playing time, and brand exposure. So
you're discovering what's valuable to the player, like with time, it looks like. So they've discovered everything, and they got pretty good matches. They're B-, B+, and nope. I don't know why that's highlighted. Because I would assume INT is interest, but I don't know what the highlight would mean then.
You'll need to discover how your program's pitch grades align with your recruit's desires.
Maybe it wasn't
in addition to scouting for talent. Some players have a deal breaker requirement, and if your program cannot provide, the recruit will lock you out.
And then you just can't
also drive a player's
recruit him at all
decision
anymore.
to enter the transfer portal.
Okay, and here goes the transfer portal. This is a weekly advanced summary. I wonder if... Okay, so it looks like maybe they might show you this on week advance. Summary of where you're at. Grade on whether you're a championship contender and how brand exposure is, and at-risk players of bouncing, and how many more. So it's going to show you the top 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to see this coming. You're not just going to... Damn, they're about to lose a 91 overall D tackle. So I imagine they're separating them like this because there's no doubles here, right? Yeah, so these players are at risk of transferring because... Is this a scroll? It is a scroll. It is a scroll. If y'all look here, this is a scroll bar. Ace Cannon, I don't think I said good morning to you yet, man. What up? Based on the pitch on the left. Oh, good call. Good call. I didn't notice what was highlighted. What else was highlighted? Yeah, good eyeball. What's happening, man? Happy Tuesday morning. What a great day this is, huh? So these players would leave because of poor brand exposure. These ones, probably winning games would lower these, and you probably have to do some work individually in here. Slash, bro, you wanted immersion? You wanted depth? You got it. To be like, dang, I didn't want to have to log into my system every 6 hours to send this text message, but I got to farm influence, bro. I have to land him. He's the future of the program. I know Oklahoma's in on him huge. And their coach ain't sleeping. I know their coach is, keeping an alarm set for how often he could get in contact. Look at Mark Ant, dude. You are very generous, Mark Ant. You're very generous. Not going to bait you with a big reaction. You're very kind. Under 10 gifties in the channel. And I encourage you once and always to spend your money, Mark Ant, my good man, on anything else. Literally anything. Cookies, snack bar, perhaps a movie date. Gas for your Civic. A cool bumper sticker for your Civic, perhaps. Lunch. Five Guys Burgers and Fries. Whatever you kids get into these days. Well, okay, don't spend that money on anything but anywhere but here. Love you, bro. Thank you so much. Don't fucking spend money in here literally ever again. 88 Diesel, Madden's players, MP catching a gifty, and Wilkie as well. Cut's going to be very money-friendly and player-friendly first year back. What do you mean? I feel like though you said two different things there, Journey Mega. Is that Cut is going to be very money-friendly and player... Oh, okay, no, I understand what you mean. I understand what you mean. Light on the wallet and player-friendly, I like that. For sure. Yo, great one, what up, bro? Online Dynasty probabilities are insane, Volunteer. Because you're giving us all this custom conference action, you could do a super conference at 20. Connected Dynasty is going to be much easier to manage, I think, than we might have guessed, which is great. Hey, Slash, well, I appreciate that, man. Thanks for trusting me for now. I've only seen what you guys have seen. I've not played it, obviously. But yeah, bro, I think there's more to be excited about than to be pessimistic about. Adam, it's a lot, and I haven't even started reading the deep dive. Oh, up in Adam. It's a lot, and I have not even started reading the deep dive. Nothing time sensitive here, right? Sorry, y'all. Hold on one moment. Just wanted to make sure I'm staying ahead of things, as it were. Okay, spectacular. And we are indeed on top of things. Hassar, I'm telling him to touch grass. Dude, I know. Well, he could put at least start a fund for 5 guys. Yeah, Schnells, that's unfortunately true. A high voltage, I also don't get anymore. You've been reading for 20 minutes and not... Okay, yeah. Okay. I'm going to play the rest of this with minimal pauses because we got to get reading.
Chance to convince
we got to get reading.
Favorites to stay. Track your recruits as
oh, dude, hit sick mess. It's not happening on my watch, buddy.
Pitch a prospect to gain more interest, and then set up school visits when the timing is right. It's crucial to remain in their top 10, then 8, then 5 to finally be part of their top
10,
3.
8, 5, 3
As a recruit
are the
trims
phases.
Down to the top 8.
So those look to be like kind of like your
as a recruit
checkpoints.
trims
Wait, hold
down,
on. It's
then 8.
So yeah, those are your checkpoints. Top 10, I guess, is when you're in the conversation and you're not locked out, I would think. Then 8, then 5, then 3, and this is your final dance here. Dabs, it was, and then I had a kid and I stopped doing that, but then I've been a little bit nasty business on Twitter as of late, because why not?
Then 5 to finally
Get
be
some people
part
going.
of their top 3. As a recruit trims down to the top 8, you can attempt to increase your appeal. If your school doesn't have exactly what the prospect...
Okay, so the My School tab is just information about what is contributing. Okay, it's like your credit score. Y'all have Credit Karma? Y'all have Credit Karma? You can like click and be like, this is like influencing it a lot. Like this is a little bit. Like what's your percentage and stuff. Same thing. Get all your factors. National championships game played. Your very high factor. That's your debt utilization there, chat. Okay, hold on. This is going to be an economics lesson as well, I fear. For your brand exposure, this is a C, whatever school this is. Okay, so that's where you'll also be able to check your riskiest transfer players. I'm curious whether they just won't transfer unless they get to the red, or you'll lose, I don't know, 75% of the players that get to the red, and you'll only lose 40% of the players that are in the orange, maybe. Curious on some of those details.
...is looking for, you can try to sway their opinion in your favor.
And okay, and this is I don't know if this is like a quick time event equivalent, like a limited time option, or if this is something that's here all the time. A sway heading costs time. You have 50 minutes to spend. It looks like probably weekly. For maximum influence, but might not be successful. If successful, this will add your chosen ideal pitch as the recruit's ideal pitch for your school only. This will add your chosen ideal pitch as the recruit's ideal pitch. So matches your pitch to their most preferred. which makes them easier to sway when part of the proposed pitch matches the recruit's ideal pitch. So, okay, that, I guess, matches what you got to offer with their interest, potentially?
Plan visits
If
that
successful,
elevate a recruit's
schedule a visit, activate, send the house. Send the house, what, just have head coach show up at his door with some dinner, with some Chick-fil-A?
experience, like pairing a quarterback visit with a wide receiver visit at the same time. It's crucial to keep an eye on the transfer portal when it opens in the off.
And this was definitely done for, it looks like this school is Florida. They've targeted essentially all of the quarterbacks. And the top one's a 3-star? And here's that deal breaker they're talking about, bottom right. Okay. Just more conditions to lock you out of some prospects, a little bit more RNG. I don't mind that.
Add portal prospects to your board just like you would with recruiting, but expect quick decisions as transfers have a shorter timeline to land a new home. Conference realignment is a hot topic in college football. And with custom conferences in EA Sports College Football 25, Dynasty is yours to control.
Custom conferences is great. I know you can rename them. I'm curious whether you can just create one.
See what a 20-team super conference might look
Pac-12, dude. Everyone's going to have to rebuild the Pac-12 first.
like, or revert to the traditional conference alignment. Shape the conference size.
You could do divisions. Sick. This is how you'll do Connected Dynasty. You'll do 2 different conferences, each with 2 divisions. 8 teams per division, 16 per conference, and have like the other conference be the one you play your. I think you could do custom schedules too. That part might take a little bit of doing, but we're going to have some more freedom there than I was worried that we might. Pac-12's in super shambles.
And set custom conference rules, set up divisions, and more. Once you've settled your conference options, it's time to select your team. Begin with a highly ranked team and dominate at the top with.
You can create one from scratch? Okay, I hadn't seen that yet. That's a dub.
Recruiting and playoff success. Or build for.
We'll put a ton of computer teams into the playoff, Ace Cannon. Yeah, but that's the only way to guarantee that you would have user games. I think user games would be more important than the playoff, potentially. I don't know. It's tough. That's like one of the ways it's going to be a little bit challenging because you feel like one of the points of a connected dynasty should be that you're playing all user games, but by nature, that would mean that there's going to be some teams with losing records. And I'm sure you probably can't override the college football playoff, although that would be great. It wouldn't make a whole lot of game sense, I don't think. But yeah, it's a fair point. 3 conferences of 10 teams. Okay, I'm hearing you out. Why do you think that would be better, Ace Cannon? Not a leading question. Genuinely curious because I've been spending a lot of time thinking about this, and I've not come up with anything that's like, yup, duh, like that'll easily work. I've not had that moment with like how that would work. Like how would you pay out? Would it just be based on the other X amount of teams playing? Just a win-loss thing? We do our own type of tiebreakers? In the playoff be like, maybe you do a bonus structure for the playoff or like a natty or something like that, but then like, I don't know, how could you... I don't know. More questions than answers. The first one, we might need to kind of just YOLO it and really not take a buy-in until a year or 2. I'm open to that. I don't love it because I feel like with 0 buy-in, people lose interest very quickly. But we could run kind of a season as a proof of concept. As a purist, I don't know if you're touching anything. Fair enough. It's why power's in your hands, brother. Yarm 39. Happy Tuesday to you, bro. Thank you so much. Pac-12 rebuild and move in college football 25. I mean, I don't know how do you rebuild a whole conference? Just every time you get promoted elsewhere? or another head coaching job, you transfer into the Pac-12? Transfer into the Pac-12, win a natty, transfer out. Then just keep doing it until the Pac-12 is elite. You cannot create from scratch. Okay, guy, that's what I had anticipated. Taco Existential, what's up, you handsome guy?
From the ground up.
Happy
with
Tuesday,
a smaller
brother.
Program and prove you have what it takes to go from an unknown to postseason favorite. We can't talk about your
Alma mater, pipeline, adaptive AI. What do you mean by that? No huddle style.
Dynasty without talking about your starting job.
You got your coach,
Start
create
as
a
an
coach.
offensive or defensive coordinator.
The low record teams probably lose a ton of players to transfer portal, leading worse users to continually get worse. Hit stick mass lift. That's a fair thought. That's a good thought. You think 4 conferences with, well, that's why I had the divisions in mind, but you're saying just conferences. So essentially 4 computer teams around about per division of each conference. All user 4 conference champs get a bye, 8 at-large bids. All right. It's not a bad idea.
And climb the ranks to head coach, or take over a program as the head coach right away. Choose from one of the 3 base coaching types to start. Your coach type will determine your coach.
Motivator, recruiter, or tactician. Get your players to play their motivator. Get your players to play their best by boosting their ratings and composure. Recruiter is Jimmy's and Joe's, not X's and O's. You scout faster and recruit better than any other type of coach. Or that might be crucial, potentially. Or a tactician, boost your players' ratings on game day specifically. Scheme up the big plays and let the visor fly. Got to be between motivator and recruiter there for me, right? Game day boost kind of superficial.
Coach type will determine what coaching skill tree you start with. From there, the abilities you acquire as you progress will determine what kind of coach you develop into. Unlock additional skill trees with better abilities. Or, if you build up multiple skill trees, you can unlock hybrid trees that leverage a more diverse skill set. The coaching carousel is an important part of every.
So it's telling you about the job offer over here. Job offer, whether it's an upgrade or a downgrade. Interesting. So this is cycling through head coaching offers.
Coach's journey. Whether you're the head man at your dream school or working your way up, the carousel is your way of fielding offers from other programs. Head coaches in Dynasty can actively manage their coordinator positions. So if one of your staff takes a job elsewhere or you decide to cut ties for other reasons, you can use the carousel to replace them. Remember, even the greatest coaches need support. And takes a job elsewhere in Dynasty can act.
So your staff is your head coach, your OC, and your DC. They have their level, their archetype from recruiter, tactician, and motivator, and length left on their contract, their scheme, and what pipeline they came through. That's where the chemistry comes in. That is okay. So it was a pipeline chemistry, but do the players get chemistry boost from, say, for example, you have all Alabama pipeline coaches. I think they mentioned in here that that's a buff. Curious whether players get a pipeline buff if they're from the same one as the coaches too.
Actively manage their coordinator positions. So if one of your staff takes a job elsewhere or you decide to cut ties for other reasons, you can.
For other reasons like what?
Use the carousel to replace them. Remember, even the greatest coaches need support, and every coach has a unique skill tree. It's important to think.
How do we guarantee an all-user playoff custom scheduling a Dynasty? Your non-conference games can be all-user to start, for sure. Would maybe only have 2 to 3 conference computer regular season games and guarantee an all-user playoff. I'm motivated for an all-user playoff. That should be kind of what we base our decisions around, how we could arrive at that. How to most efficiently arrive at 12 user teams making the college football playoff. I still think that's going to be tough to do, though.
about how you want to build your staff. Whether that's doubling down on your existing strengths to max out your benefits or seeking out balance for a well-rounded staff.
Yearly XP for records held by a player you coached. Oh! Hold up. Hold up. There's going to be some cheese available in here, chat. There's going to be some cheese available in here. Yearly XP for records held by a player that you coached. Set a bunch of records early on and then just set and profit. Set the craziest record. It set every relevant record. Farm. There's a way to manipulate a 3-conference lead to be all user games and YOFs. I wonder. I also think we have to start with team builder teams too, rather than like taking over pre-existing, because then it's just going to be a bloodbath for whoever winds up with Georgia, like GG's. And I am worried. I will say this. I'm worried that the road to the college football is like the comp regs mode, essentially, is going to just be some combination of Georgia versus Oregon versus Ohio State versus Alabama. At most, if not indeed just mirror matches of Georgia on repeat. Kind of like it was when Aaron Rodgers was like when the Packers were the only team you'd ever see in regs because of Aaron Rodgers. That would stink. I think the lower probability of success abilities might lessen the chance of that happening, because if abilities are like rock solid, in a similar way, you had to pick Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback to pass at a high level, they felt. I'm sure it's accurate. In like a similar way, you would hate to see a particular ability set up in this game just be like, you are putting yourself in a bad spot if you're not picking this team. Like, that sucks. I know, Lazy Boy, I know, and I don't even want to give it that too much airtime, that concern, but like when the overall rankings came out and Georgia was that much better than everybody else, I was like, oh, ratings are going to play here. Ratings are definitely going to play. So I wonder, I think a team builder focused connected dynasty for my taste might be a little more compelling than who uses Georgia the best. And again, I don't want to speak that evil. I really don't want to speak that evil, but
choose wisely.
I don't think an unreasonable
the decisions
concern.
You make here will matter to your program's success and your coach's progression. The benefits of coach talents are stackable. So if your head coach and defensive coordinator have the same ability, the impact...
Extra XP per win. So there's going to be a good strategic order to do this in, such that you're generating the most XP as early as you can in your career. Because, I mean, offline, if they don't cap you, he's level 34 up here. 34, but is this his, like, ability spread? Because it looks like he hasn't done anything yet at level 34. All right, there's still more questions than there are answers.
For that ability will be greater. Well, that's it for today's deep dive into Dynasty mode in EA Sports College Football 25. To make it game day every day this season, pre-order the...
Holy crap, I am so freaking excited. I am actually so ridiculously excited. Here's our plan. Chatimus Maximus. Here's our plan. I'm going to hit the restroom real quick, because I would like to do this uninterrupted. But for my next trick, I'm going to read the entirety of the deep dive. Adam said that he read for 20 minutes and he was not that close to finishing it, which is insane. But we're going to sit down. We're going to lock in for it. I'm going to read this Jiminy Cricket to you like a storybook. It will go big font. Big font, I think probably over here though, right? Yeah. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, Paulo, I'm about to lock in. My man. Nick, what's up, baby? Oh, good to freaking see you, man. His brother said a face for radio. Don't do that to me, McClure. Don't do that to me. Wow, this is weird. I'm actually moving my Streamlabs over to a window that it's never on. Nick, big tier 3s from the legend of the congregation himself. And then I'm going to read from this monitor, right? Yeah. We're about to lock so hard in right now. Stash this yonder. Nick, bro, I am so freaking excited, man. The 16th cannot come a literal moment too soon. And there's going to be pictures, right? I just want to make sure my face cam is not blocking the photos. Okay, good. We're going mid-right for this adventure. My man, Dockery with the prime! Doc, what's up, baby? 28 months in the congregation. Thank you so much. Nick with a big tier 3. Doc with a big 28. Really makes you more sleepy than constipated. Okay, why are we comparing sleepy and constipated? Yeah, lazy boy, grab your coffee, grab a beverage, whatever else you're into. Coffee, y'all ready for story time? I'm gonna cut the background music too. Sauce, it's an info overload. I know. I'm about to read it from the top. I'm about to read it from the top, and zoomed in, it's an even longer scroll. That's crazy. I just wanted to see how big I can get the pictures to be. Okay, if I'll open all the images in a new tab as we scroll through them. All right. Mikey, 2 times. What's up, man? Oh, bro, you freaking said it. Wait, hold on. What'd Nick say? Flight canceled last night at 10 p. You had to rent a car from JFK and drive to Maine? Bro, what happens in your life, dog? Damn. Should've just came to live in New Jersey, honestly. Alright, chat. I'm hitting ahead. Then we're gonna take this thing from the top. I'll leave this on for now, and then I'll cut it. Alright, be right back. Okay. Alrighty then. I'm gonna put the link for what I'm reading in the chat. Okay, I'm gonna pin this, so no pressure on anybody specific, but if y'all are, I'm in McClure with the highly functional Gifty to Nightbot. McClure! Thank you, man. Fendy's too lazy? A whole cap? What do you mean? Actual cap. Yeah, Nightbot was really looking stupid out here, though. No question. I'm gonna leave that pinned. If y'all are hanging out at all and, you know, someone like checks in to say good morning or something, I am going to read this whole thing top to bottom. No stops. I'm going to, like, minimal commentary. I just want to read it kind of as is. All right. So let's put a mute piece on that. Let me get a fresh recording on this thing. All right, chat, so we're settling in. We're settling in from the top of the Dynasty Deep Dive. I'll pull up, I'll full screen the photos as I come up. There's a ton of pictures in here. There's a ton of information. I heard 17,000 words. So we're going to take this thing from the top, read the entirety of it. I'm going to not interrupt the information by yapping. I'm gonna do my best not to, at least, but I'm sure, you know, we'll miss a couple chat messages if you guys are just hanging out and someone's like, dude, so is this Fen ignoring me now, Hollywood Fen? You could be like, yeah, for sure, but also he's just gonna read this for us here, and then we'll check back in, reactions and stuff once we're done. Yeah, Dabs Trophy. This is going to be a lot. This is probably going to I would imagine this is going to probably take us it might take an hour. It might take an hour. I'm not going to put in filler. I'm not going to put in commentary. I just want to read the text for you. But only place to start is at the top. If you have an inch, well, you can go to the blog for the full screen pictures. I was going to say, I'm going to, it's a lot of stuff we saw in the video. Hold on, let me just see what I want to do with the pictures specifically. And let me not record desktop sound too. There we go. That's better. Cap Daddy, more than meets the eye. What up, Cap? It's Zombie King, 2 years. Checking back in, my man. Nah. No, not me. Okay, Adam, heard. Here. Oh, that was close. Very exciting. All right. Zombie King, man, 2 years. Thank you again. Yeah, Rox, that was close. That was close. Wasn't that close. Yeah, I'm just going to scroll. You guys can go here for the photos if you want to. I'll say what the picture is for the audio note. But this is a lot of stuff we saw in the video. Some stuff we didn't. But all right. Can't run from the grind forever. All right, y'all ready? From the top, today's College Football 25 Dynasty Deep Dive. Legend has it that this is over 17,000 words and something like 80 pages of information. We're starting at 12:08 here. I think over-under's got to be at an hour. A channel point prediction would probably be hilarious. No pressure. But I'm going to lock in. Just let me help me out if you guys see any chat messages, people saying good morning. I'd appreciate it greatly. The College Football 25 Dynasty Deep Dive. Welcome back to the Campus Huddle, your home for news and information about EA Sports College Football 25. We know you've been awaiting more information about the fan favorite Dynasty mode. Before we get started with the Campus Huddle, let's hear from Kirk Herbstreit for a video deep dive on Dynasty mode. We saw that part already. Afterwards, you'll hear from Chad Walker, producer, and Ben Howmiller, principal game designer for College Football 25. Let's get started. Building Dynasty. We were in early stages of designing Dynasty mode. We talked with members of the community, college football experts and coaches, read hundreds of blog posts and tweets, and watched countless wish list videos. We knew how important Dynasty was to our community, and we heard loud and clear that our players wanted a deep experience that's representative of the current college football landscape, where roster management and talent acquisition are at the forefront of successful programs. With this in mind, we anchored our experience around three core pillars: build your coach, build your program, and deliver the world of college football. Build your coach. This encompasses the decisions you make on your coaching journey to the top of the college football world, whether that's starting as a coordinator at a small school and making a name for yourself before getting that first head coaching job, or starting as a head coach at your dream school. Every decision you make on your journey matters. Build your program. As the old saying goes, to win in college football, it's not the X's and O's, it's the Jimmies and the Joes. Recruiting is the lifeblood of college football, and having a consistent winner means you need a roster that's built to reload rather than rebuild. That all starts at the high school recruiting trail, but in modern college football, roster retention and utilizing the transfer portal are instrumental in your ability to field a championship team and deliver the world of college football. A lot has changed in college football over the last year, let alone the last 11 years. From the new 12-team college football playoff to conference realignment, we set out to recreate the ever-changing world of college football within Dynasty and provide you with the tools to customize your experience. Underlying our three core pillars was one singular motto: satisfy the core community, because this is their game. A little photo of the Colorado State Rams against the Buffaloes there. Build your coach. Your journey to the top of the college football world starts with your coach. We wanted this to be meaningful and allow you to experience a coaching journey that no other sport can provide. We met with college football coaches and experts and started breaking down real-life coaches on the whiteboard. What was their identity? What made them great? What was their journey to get where they are today? What we found was that both current and former coaches broadly fit into three main categories. Some are incredible recruiters, others are motivators who maximize the potential of their players, and lastly, tacticians out-scheme their opponents with on-field X's and O's. There are also a number of coaches who are more of a hybrid between two categories. For example, coaches who are great at both recruiting and X's and O's. Right after breaking down hundreds of coaches, two things were loud and clear. No coach was great at everything, and there is no single path to being a great coach. What about the greatest coaches of all time? Even they weren't great at everything and needed their coordinators. Let's look back to 2013. Alabama's offense had fallen behind. The world of college football offenses was changing, and it was changing quickly. They had to pivot and change their entire philosophy, bringing in an offensive guru who transformed the Alabama offense and put the program on an entirely new trajectory, playing in 6 of the next 8 national championships while creating multiple first-round drafted quarterbacks. All of our research and discussions led us to build a coach experience centered around 3 goals. Just like the real world, no coach could be great at everything. a rock, paper, scissors relationship between coach types with no dominant progression path, and coordinators and how you build your staff matters. Coach progression. Progressing your coach starts with playing games. As you play, you'll complete coach goals that award XP. Once you earn enough XP, you'll level up the coach to a maximum of level 50 and be awarded coach points. Coach points can be used to upgrade your coach's abilities, and we'll see more on that later. 4 types of coach XP goal categories that can be single game, weekly, season, or career goals. Draft. Pro draft goals based on which round your players drafted in, like having someone go in the first round. Game. Individual game goals that range from a single play, like a pick or a rushing touchdown, to a full game result, like beating your rival or a top 25 team or winning a national championship. Recruiting, determined by your success on the recruiting trail. Recruiting goals can be specific to a single prospect, like signing a 5-star, or, again, full season, like signing the best recruiting class in the country. And stats, weekly goals like ranked in the top 10 season stat goals. For example, 4,000 team pass yards, ranked top 5 in offensive yards, or career goals like winning 5 national championships. The number of times you completed a goal and your progress toward goal completion can be viewed in a Coach XP Goals screen, which they're showing just below here, which can be accessed via the Coach tab in the Dynasty Hub. We've also added 5 progression speed settings so you can modify how fast coaches progress in your Dynasty. There's the page, what it's talking about there. Each time you complete a goal in-game, you'll receive a notification in the top left corner of the screen. The notification will describe the completed goal and XP reward. Little icons popping up in the HUD for the user there. After completing a game or advancing the week, you'll receive an XP summary screen showing your progression to the next level. And there that is. My man Taco, thank you so much, bro. On coach archetypes in EA Sports College Football 25, we're introducing a new archetype-based coach abilities system. You think of this similar to your traditional RPG classes. All your party members have a specific class or an archetype and a role. Ultimately, in order for your team to be successful, all the players in your party must do their job and work together. Our system is no different. All coaches will start with a base class or coach archetype, which can be thought of as your special ability in a traditional RPG. Just like our real-life coaches, the base archetypes fall into 3 categories: recruiting, motivation, think player development and program culture, and scheme, think on-field X's and O's. From your base archetype, you can progress in multiple ways. You can become an expert in a single category like recruiting, where you become an elite recruiter and excel on the recruiting trail. Alternatively, you can become a great hybrid coach who's strong in multiple areas. For example, a talent developer is great at both talent acquisition or recruiting and player development or motivation. This ultimate goal is to become a program builder or CEO atop the world of college football. Achieving an elite archetype like program builder or CEO is a combination of on-field success and ability progression. There's no single formula to reach these statuses. You'll be able to mix and match different ability combinations and progression paths, leading to strong customization. In total, there's 11 different archetypes, each with their own focuses and perks. Together, they form a rock, paper, scissors relationship where there's no dominant archetype. While there's no doubt that talent acquisition is the most important thing in college football, focusing solely on recruiting could leave you vulnerable in other areas. Remember that no coach can be great at everything. Every decision you make on your coaching journey matters. Once you purchase an ability, there's no going back, as you will not be able to respec your coach. How do I upgrade my archetype and what does it do? Each archetype has a set of prerequisites and objectives that must be completed in order to purchase them. For example, in order to become an elite recruiter, you must spend 50 coach points in the recruiter archetype and sign 2 top 5 recruiting classes. Once these goals are complete, the archetype becomes available for purchase with coach points. When creating your coach, you'll select which base archetype you want to start with. The other 2 base archetypes will then be available for purchase with coach points without the need to meet any additional requirements. Purchasing an archetype with coach points unlocks a new set of abilities, as well as new opportunities in a coaching carousel which we'll hear a little bit more about later. Additionally, each archetype has a perk when it's active. For example, Tactician has the Winner perk, which awards additional coach XP every time you win a game. Your active archetypes automatically determine if you own the Program Builder or CEO archetypes, they'll always be your active archetype, regardless of how many coach points you've spent in other archetypes. If you do not own these archetypes, your active archetype is the one that you've spent the most coach points in. All owned coach abilities are always on, regardless of which archetype is currently active. Your progress can be viewed in the Coach Abilities screen, which is accessible from the Coach tab of the Dynasty Hub. Within the screen, you'll be able to see all the available archetypes, their unlock requirements, and their perks, and your overall progression in each archetype. As you spend coach points in each archetype, the spider graph in the center of the screen will morph and change to show your coach's DNA. And an example of the Oregon coach DNA there. How do abilities work? Once you own an archetype, you can purchase the abilities within it using coach points. In College Football 25, we're introducing more than 50 coach abilities. Each ability can have up to 4 tiers, and every tier has a purchase cost associated with it. Every archetype, with the exception of Scheme Guru, Program Builder, and CEO, has their abilities broken down by position group. This increases the level of depth and specialization each coach has. No longer is a coach great at recruiting across the board. Now, coaches will specialize in specific position groups, making your staff composition that much more important. Are you a quarterback whisperer? Are you great in the trenches and committed to the no-fly zone? How does your staff complement you? In addition to position-based boosts, there's also going to be coach abilities with core gameplay effects so you can really cook. For example, the Scheme Guru archetype focuses on your gameplay style. If you're a coach who likes to play fast, you can upgrade fast tempo offense, providing you with the following boost. Battery pack at tier 1, offensive players fatigue slower and hurry up. Caught napping is a tier 2. Increased delay to defenders looking to the sideline at the snap. On their heels is a tier 3. Team composure boost for first downs gained while running hurry up. Or tipped your hand to tier 4, a chance to see the defender's coverage shell in hurry up. Oh. You can also make your team a well-oiled machine who doesn't work against themselves and is unfazed by rowdy home field crowds by upgrading the discipline or communication ability. On offense, this provides at tier 1 hater blockers. Gives you a slight reduction in crowd noise impact on the field. Tier 2 Teflon. Significant reduction of crowd noise impact on the road. Tier 3 Polished. Offensive players will commit slightly fewer penalties. And Tier 4 Clean Sheet Offense. Offensive players will commit significantly fewer penalties. Of course, balance is critically important here, so there are defensive counters to all offensive play style abilities. One more time. Of course, balance is critically important here, so there are defensive counters to all of the offensive playstyle abilities. Is your defense looking a little sus? Or are you tired of getting punched in the mouth by a physical ground and pound team? Upgrade your ground and pound defense to become a stout run defense and reduce the effects a physical offense continuously running the football. The Program Builder and CEO archetypes are different in the way that they're only available to head coaches. The abilities within them are diverse and range from roster management and program culture to home field advantage and recruiting pipeline boosts. That is uniquely for Program Builder and CEO archetypes that are only available to head coaches. Now, what about coordinators? Both coordinators and head coaches have the same set of abilities and archetypes available to them, leading to a natural progression from coordinator to head coach, an increased importance on staff management, where your coordinators either complement your strengths or shore up your deficiencies. Remember, no coach can be great at everything, so it's critical that your coordinators complement you. All of the abilities your coaching staff own stack together, increasing the effect of an ability. Abilities owned by the head coach have the greatest impact. The impact of the coordinator-owned abilities depends on whether or not the ability is related to their side of the ball. For example, a defense coordinator having a quarterback icy veins ability, which boosts quarterback composure at the beginning of a game, will not have as much of an effect as though an offensive coordinator had it. Interesting. Your coordinators will automatically progress their archetypes and abilities. You'll not be able to control which abilities they purchase, nor will you be able to respec your coordinator's abilities. This adds even more importance to how you progress your coach and manage your staff in the coaching carousel. Essentially, you're a one and done. You can view the abilities on your coordinator's own from within their coach ability screen by tabbing left and right with LB, RB, or R1 and L1. Each coach will have a unique spider graph based on the abilities and archetypes that they own. Pressing R3 will overlay all three coaches' spider graphs so you can quickly see where your staff is deficient. Climbing the coaching ladder. Here's a picture of the all three coaches overlay. Pretty cool looking. On climbing the coaching ladder. Your journey starts when you sign your first coach contract. When creating your dynasty, you'll have the option to select whether you want to be a head coach, an offensive coordinator, or a defensive coordinator. Coordinators have performance expectations just like a head coach. All roles will have full control of recruiting and be able to play both sides of the ball during gameplay. Sign here, please. Every time you start a new coaching job, you'll be asked to sign a contract with the school. The contract will have a set contract length and performance expectations. Just like in real life, failure to meet those expectations will result in bad things happening. School expectations are determined by the school's current team prestige and program standing. The better the school, the higher the expectations. There's 4 types of contract expectations. Win X amount of games, win a conference championship, make the college football playoff, and win a national championship. Your job security will fluctuate throughout the season based on the results of your games and whether or not you're trending toward your contract expectations. The further you are away from meeting your expectations, the bigger your job security will be hit. If your job security gets too low, you'll end up on a hot seat. If it gets too hot, you'll get fired. You'll have to look for a new job in a carousel. Alternatively, meeting or exceeding your goal will result in increased job security. Of course, if you don't like the possibility of being fired, you can always turn off user coach firing in your dynasty settings. Job security is a function of your ability to meet your contract expectations. Every win and loss counts toward that expectation. With that being said, not all wins and losses are created equal. Beating a higher ranked team will have a larger impact than beating one of the generic FCS teams. Similarly, losing to a generic FCS team, not a good look. All coaches will have a coach prestige letter grade that ranges from A+ through F. Coach prestige is reflective of your ability to meet contract expectations, adjusted for the school and role that you have. For example, meeting expectation and winning 5 games at a small school will have a significantly smaller impact than winning the SEC championship at a traditional powerhouse school. At the end of the contract, your school will evaluate whether or not they want to extend your contract based on your performance. If you're offered an extension, you'll be notified that the school has decided to extend your contract, and it'll be automatically accepted. Don't worry. Automatic acceptance of contract extensions does not mean you're unable to change jobs. You can leave for a new job via the coaching carousel at any point in your contract, regardless of your current contract status. We auto-accept extensions to protect you from inadvertently changing jobs if you sim past a contract extension offer without interacting with it. Your current coach contract and job security status can be accessed from the Coach tab of the Dynasty Hub. When viewing a contract, you can see your current and past season job security, contract extension, and your school's season-by-season result for the last 20 years. Season-by-season results show the team's record, if they're a conference championship, and any bowl games that they won in that season. When signing your contract, you'll have the opportunity to look at the last 20 years and see the kind of program you're taking over. Of course, your program's history will continue to update over time as you play your dynasty. On the coaching carousel, following the 2021 to 2022 college football regular season, 2 high-profile schools in LSU and USC were looking for new coaches. Both schools did what nobody saw coming and hired elite coaches from other high-profile schools. And suddenly, other high-profile jobs were unexpectedly available, and the coaching carousel was in full effect. In College Football 25, we set out to recreate the chaos that is a college football coaching carousel, along with the domino effect that it brings. Now, Instead of happening over a single week, the carousel takes place over the course of 5 weeks, from the conference championship week to the end of the bowl season, just like the real world. Additionally, the carousel is now an asynchronous experience where each user can evaluate their offers without the need to wait on somebody else. That way, in your multi-user online Dynasty, the entire carousel experience won't be held up because you're sitting around waiting for your friend to get on and evaluate the job offer only for them to tell you they're staying where they're at. So how does the coaching carousel work? The carousel kicks off during conference championship week. During this week, all contracts are processed, and schools determine if they want to fire, extend, or let a coach's contract expire. If your school's decided to fire or extend you, you'll receive an action item notifying you of the news. If you're the head coach, you'll also be able to fire coordinators during this week, which we'll also hear a little bit more on later. Once you advance the week and arrive in bowl season, the first round of job offers go out. If you received any job offers, you'll be notified via an action item titled View Job Offers. If you didn't receive any offers, you'll receive a generic action item called Coach Carousel. Pressing the action item will take you to the carousel screen where you can view any job offers that you have, as well as all of the open jobs around the country. Just because you didn't receive any offers in the first week of bowl season, or if you didn't like the offers that you did receive, doesn't mean the coaching carousel experience is over. Remember, it takes place over the course of multiple weeks. The first week of bowl season is just the beginning. As schools hire and poach coaches from other schools, their previous jobs will become unavailable as an unexpected job opening, and the schools will look to hire a replacement the following week. When viewing a job offer, you'll see the school's new coach preferences, what happened to their previous coach, and who the top candidates are for the job. You'll also see the contract they're offering you and what the contract expectations are. Once you accept an offer, you'll stay with your current school until after the Natty, which is when all job changes are processed. This allows you to take one last ride with your current team and coach any bowl games that they do play in. There will be a countdown in the top right corner of the Dynasty Hub informing you how many weeks are remaining until you change jobs. If you accept the head coach position, you'll be able to manage your staff and hire coordinators at your new school during the rest of the carousel period. If you were fired or your contract expired and you do not accept a new job before the end of the carousel, you'll be automatically placed on a new team after the Natty. So how do schools determine who they want to hire? Each school has a school persona, which determines what they're looking for in their next coach. Schools will evaluate candidates across the following criteria. First is level. The higher a coach's level, the more powerful they are and the more abilities that they have. Schools are always looking for the highest caliber coach they can find. Their scheme. Certain schools, like the military academies, want a coach who runs a very specific style of offense or defense. Their archetype. Schools have a preference on the type of coach they're looking to hire. Just like the real world, blue bloods prefer elite coaches who are a program builder or a CEO. Those roles reserved for head coaches. Pipeline. All coaches have a primary pipeline which provides a boost in recruiting. This is meant to simulate an area of the country where they have strong ties and relationships in recruiting. Schools prefer coaches whose primary pipeline is the same one as the school's recruiting pipelines. And coach prestige. A coach's prestige is compared against the school's team prestige. A 5-star program is not going to hire a coach who is mid and only a C- coach prestige. Reasonable. Together, these form an overall school fit score, which is then used to generate a list of candidates for the job. The school will then extend an offer to one of those coaches. On game theory and the domino effect, it's important to keep in mind that the domino effect when you're evaluating whether or not to accept an offer. Important to keep the domino effect in mind when you're evaluating whether to accept an offer. Just because a job isn't open today doesn't mean it won't be available next week. You can view all the current job openings by using the All Openings filter in the Coach Carousel screen. Every open job will list out the top candidates the school is targeting. Once the week is advanced, one of these 3 candidates will leave their current job and accept the open job. This allows you to predict which jobs may become available next week. You can also view all the coach movements across the college football world in the Staff Moves screen. The Staff Moves screen can be accessed via the Staff Moves action item in the Dynasty Hub. Staff Moves shows all the coaches who changed jobs, their former and new team, and the reason that they left. Screenshot there. Little scroll job here. Ole Miss is an example, and there goes the staff move screen, and that's showing you everybody and what happened. On managing your staff as a head coach, you'll now have the opportunity to manage your staff and hire and fire your coordinators. Remember, our coach archetype system does not allow you to be great at everything, making who you surround yourself with that much more important. Staff management is your opportunity to build your staff the way you want in an effort to put yourself in the best position to succeed as a program. You're fired. Managing your staff starts during conference championship week. During this week, you'll be able to fire your coordinators. Be careful, because this is the only week you can do this. After this week, you're unable to replace a coordinator unless they're hired away by another school. Your coordinators will not leave unless you fire them or they're hired by another school. Every coordinator has a standard 2-year contract. Once their contract expires, it'll be automatically renewed for another 2 years. Of course, if you don't like them, you can always tell them that they're fired. If your coordinator has 1 year or less remaining on the current contract, there's a chance they'll be poached and leave for another school. If this happens during the carousel, you'll have the opportunity to hire a replacement. Welcome to the team. Starting bowl week 1, you can hire new coordinators if you have an open position. When you go to hire a new coordinator, you'll be presented with a curated list of candidates. These coaches are chosen for you based on the needs of your school. The logic that's used to determine the list is similar to the AI school logic to determine their top candidates. When looking at a candidate, you'll be able to see their current school, active archetype, coach level, and what schools are interested in them. These are the schools you would be competing with if you made them a job offer. You can also view the coach's talent tree so you can drill down more deeply and see whether or not they'd be a good fit with your staff. When you make an offer to a coach, it's not a guarantee they accept it. You can only offer one coach per position each week, and once you've offered them, they'll appear in your staff management screen with an offered tag. When you advance the week and re-enter the screen, you'll find out whether or not they accepted the offer. If they did, they'll join your program after the Natty when we progress all coach moves. If they rejected the offer, you'll have the opportunity to offer another coach. You'll always have at least one coach available to hire who does not require you to compete with another school. Cool. If at the end of the carousel you've not been able to fill an open position, you'll be automatically given a new coordinator that's on par with the caliber of your program. And a couple screenshots of the coordinator screen. There goes an opening a defensive coordinator there. The higher staff screenshot. And they brought on a DC from Louisville, maybe. Build your program. There's no question that in today's world, roster management and talent acquisition are at the forefront of college football and building your program. Players can now transfer whenever they want and have expectations for you and your program. Some are looking to play early. Others want to win championships and play in big games. And stars want to grow their brand beyond the field. Aligning what you and your program can do for them has never been more important. We began our design process by talking with current and former coaches, players, and recruiting experts. What is recruiting and roster management like in the current era? How have player motivations changed? What causes a player to transfer? What differentiates a big-time program from a smaller school when it comes to how they operate on the recruiting trail? At the same time, we spent a ton of time doing quantitative research. We wanted to know anything and everything about recruiting and program management. This ranged from how many 5, 4, and 3-star prospects there are every year to what makes a California quarterback different from a Florida quarterback. We focused heavily on the different geographic regions and what they're known for, as well as researching the recruiting journeys of hundreds of prospects. Why did they ultimately sign with the schools they did? What did the schools in their top 5 and top 3 have in common with each other? Why did they visit some schools and not the others? What role did the head coach and coordinators play in the recruiting process? And lastly, we spent time talking with our community on what they expected from recruiting and program management. Players liked the recruiting in older games because it had depth, but it was also tedious at times. On the contrary, the latest iteration was fast, but also felt shallow and cold. Never actually felt like you were establishing a relationship with the prospect. Wanted to find a way to blend the two so that recruiting felt meaningful and allowed you to build a connection with recruits through discovery while also being conscious of your time each week. Ultimately, we landed on 4 core goals when building your program. Humanize recruits by giving them unique needs and motivations that the player has to discover by interacting. Differentiate regions of the country by player caliber, quality, and type to authentically capture high school talent based on historical real-world data. They wanted to represent the different resources available to schools, ensuring the top schools can blanket the country while smaller schools will need to be more targeted with their approach, and make the transfer portal feel authentically unpredictable. Welcome to Stage Recruiting. In College Football 25, we're introducing a new staged recruiting experience built around 3 distinct phases: discovery, pitch, and close. Just like the real world, every recruit will be on a different stage of their process, where they are in their process will dictate how you interact with them and the level of engagement they require. Recruiting begins with discovery. In this initial stage, you're finding out which prospects to target, what their skills are, and what they care about most. This stage is all about uncovering information about the recruit as quickly as possible. Sooner you can discover how well they align with your program, the better, as time is of the essence. Once a recruit announces their top 5 schools, it's time to pitch. During the pitch phase, you're selling the recruit on your program and what you offer. How well your school aligns with their motivations will determine how successful you are. The final stage is to close, so where you bring the recruit in for an official visit and attempt to leave a lasting impression about your program. The visit goes well, you'll make huge gains with the recruit and possibly secure a verbal commitment following the visit. Ultimately, the recruit will make their final decision on National Signing Day. Before we dive deeper into each of these, let's start by discussing how every program and recruit is unique. My school. When we talk about there being 134 ways to play, we're talking about more than just on-field gameplay. Every school is graded from D- to A+ across 14 different categories. So D- is the worst you could be, which comprise their My School grades. These grades define who a program is and what their strengths and weaknesses are. No 2 programs are the same, and the grades will dynamically change over the course of your dynasty based on school performance and actions. And here go your 14 grades. Playing time represents how long it'll take a player to become a starter at their position. Playing time individualized to each recruit and player based on their position group and overall. Playing style. This is a representation of how you play. Every player archetype has a stat that's tracked over the course of the season. How high that stat is relative to other teams determines your grade. For example, field general quarterbacks playing style grade is driven by passing yards per game. Championship contender. This measures how close the team is to winning a championship. It takes into account the team's current ranking and roster composition, program tradition. This is a holistic view of a program's history and success over time, based on the number of conference and national championships, total wins, and awards won. Campus lifestyle. This is a representation of the city and area surrounding the campus, as well as the campus itself. This grade cannot be changed or impacted. That is campus lifestyle. Stadium atmosphere, driven by the stadium's toughest places to play ranking, which is determined by a team's historical performance in home games. Pro potential, the projection of how likely it is that players on the current roster will play on Sundays. Brand exposure. This grades a team's overall brand recognition, the potential NIL opportunities a player could get at the school, and how often the school plays in primetime games. Academic prestige. This ranks all universities based on real-world academic rankings. This grade cannot be changed either. Conference prestige represents the overall strength of a conference based on each conference member's team prestige, just an aggregate. Coach prestige, reflection of the school's coaching staff. The head coach carries the most weight here, but coordinators are also taken into account. Coach stability measures how long the coaching staff has been in place and how likely they are to remain there for the next 4 years is coach stability. Athletic facilities. This grade measures the quality of athletic facilities for the program. Waterfalls and barbershops are a plus here. And last one of the 14, proximity to home. This grade is unique to each recruit and is based on where the school is in relation to the recruit's home pipeline. Each grade has a unique set of grading criteria. For example, playing time is graded on a per-player basis. The player's overall or projected overall if they're a recruit is compared to the team's roster to project how many years it'll take them to become a starter. Actions you take on the recruiting trail will impact the playing time grade of both recruits and players on your current roster. Even if a player is a starter today, signing new players in recruiting may negatively impact their playing time grade and cause them to enter the transfer portal. On the other hand, Championship Contender uses a combination of your top 25 poll ranking, team prestige, and an assessment of your current roster quality with Bud Elliott's blue chip ratio, which looks at the percentage of your roster that's made up of 4- and 5-star players. And finally, there's brand exposure, which is a reflection of your school's brand and the potential NIL opportunities a player could earn at your school. While you won't see players having a mustard named after them in College Football 25, recruits and transfers alike will assess their NIL earnings potential and branding opportunities when considering where to go. Most grades update dynamically throughout the season, while some only update at the end of every season. It's important to keep tabs on your grades throughout and how you're trending, because a slide in your grades could trigger decommitments from verbally committed recruits or a sudden transfer portal exodus. Nightmare scenario at the end of a season. Your grades also play a pivotal role in recruiting and will determine how well your pitches land with a recruit. You can see all of your grades and detailed information about them in the My School screen, which can be accessed from the recruiting hub. The screen allows you to assess your school's current strengths and weaknesses, as well as how you can improve each grade to become a stronger program. Highlighting a grade will show you the steps you can take to improve it, where you're currently ranked amongst other teams, as well as the players are at risk of transferring because they have a deal breaker attached to that grade. More on deal breakers and why a player would decide to leave later. And here goes the Stanford recruiting screenshot here. A couple different scrolls. There goes the My School tab. Saw that from the video there as well. Each week, the game will surface this information to you in a weekly summary, allowing you to quickly see the health of your program and any changes. The My School report will show you the grades that were positively or negatively impacted by your actions in the last week, as well as any grades that have players who are at risk of transferring if it gets too low. Okay, so this screenshot is specifically, it's not always going to be Championship Contender and program tradition. These are one of the 14 aspects that are putting players at risk. In this screenshot, we see the Sun Devils here running a C+ for their Championship Contender, and their halfback room is not loving it. Collectively, your My School grades form your team prestige, which can be thought of as your My School GPA. Team prestige grades teams from 0 to 5 stars in half-star increments based on their current My School grades. Very few programs will achieve elite 5-star status, and even fewer will be able to maintain it for a prolonged period of time. Ultimately, team prestige plays a pivotal role in recruiting and the caliber of players who want to play for your program. Recruits and where they come from. Each season, more than 3,500 recruits are generated from across the country. Just like the real world, every class is different. Some years have a plethora of great quarterback talent, while others have fewer great prospects. Similarly, the quantity and quality of prospects from each region of the country will vary. Certain regions will be more consistent in the caliber, quality, and type of recruits they produce than others. For example, Southern Cal is known for producing great quarterback talent, while East Texas consistently produces some of the best wide receivers in the country. However, we didn't stop there. We wanted to go deeper to ensure that we're capturing the authenticity of high school talent. Yes, East Texas is known for producing great receivers, but more specifically, they're known for how big and physical their receivers are. As a result, you're going to see bigger and more physical receivers coming out of East Texas, whereas South Florida is going to produce incredibly fast, deep threat receivers who have a smaller size. What a recruit cares about. There's 14 different motivations a recruit can care about, all of which map one-to-one with the My School grades described above. Motivations to the My School grades are one-to-one, 14 of them. Which motivations they care about are influenced by their star rating. A 5-star prospect going to care more about getting to the next level, winning championships, and growing their brand with NIL opportunities than a 2-star will. By contrast, a 2-star more likely to care about staying close to home, coach stability, and academics. Those are the guys you build your program around, Chet. Every recruit will have 3 motivations that they care about. These 3 motivations form what we call their ideal pitch. During the discovery stage, your job as a recruiter is to find their ideal pitch as fast as you possibly can to determine whether or not they align with your program. If a recruit doesn't align with your program, you're going to have an uphill battle to sign them. There's a chance that one of their 3 ideal pitch motivations is also a deal breaker. Deal breakers represent a motivation that a recruit is extremely passionate about and they just won't budge on. If you don't satisfy the deal breaker, they won't talk to you. Additionally, a deal breaker stays with a player forever. So once they're on your roster, they will still have the same deal breaker they had when you recruited them to your school. You can think of this like your promise to them. If you fail to uphold your side of the deal, there's a chance they will decide to enter the transfer portal at the end of the season. And recruiting pipelines. When we analyze historical recruiting data, it was clear that even in today's day and age, recruiting is still highly regionalized. We discussed various recruiting strategies and tactics with former and current coaches, in particular how they handled recruiting in different areas of the country. All of our research and discussion led us to a new way of thinking about pipelines in college football 25. First and foremost, it was clear that not every state's created equal when it comes to recruiting talent and pipelines. Having a pipeline in Florida is much more valuable than one in New York. Whatever. This made clear the traditional approach of having each state be its own pipeline wouldn't accurately represent the recruiting landscape. One of our goals was to balance pipelines in terms of quantity and quality of recruits that come from them, as well as how schools tend to look at them. The result was reshaping pipelines to represent a geographic region rather than a state. For example, Florida is now broken into 3 different pipelines: North Florida, Central Florida, and South Florida. Wow. Similarly, Metro Atlanta is its own pipeline, whereas New York and New Jersey were combined to become a single pipeline. In total, there are 50 pipelines in college football 25. 50. With our newly shaped pipelines, the next step was to look at every school's recruiting classes each of the last 10 years to identify which parts of the country they primarily recruit in. Using this data, developed a tiered ranking system to represent how strong a school is in a given pipeline. Each pipeline has 5 levels, and every school was given a pipeline level based on historical data. The higher your pipeline level, the stronger your influence is in the region. This will boost a recruit's initial interest in your school and the impact of your pitches. A school's pipeline level will never change, which ensures that the schools who are historically strong recruiters in a given region will always have an advantage. For example, Florida's historically dominated recruiting in Central Florida in areas like Lakeland, Tampa, and Orlando. Similarly, LSU regularly reaches into East Texas and all along the Gulf Coast. This also accurately reflects the challenges of recruiting to a small school that's not located in or adjacent to a strong pipeline. Rebuilders paying attention. Generally speaking, your school's pipelines will heavily influence the types of players you'll be able to get and where they're from. The bonus for being the highest tier in a pipeline are extremely strong, and schools are incentivized to recruit their own pipelines. As Oregon, expect to compete often with the likes of Washington and USC for players in Southern California and Arizona. Together, pipelines and deal breakers create a much more realistic and less exploitable recruiting experience. While it's still possible to land 4 stars as a small school, it will require the right fit and a heavy investment of resources and time. Our hope is that you'll no longer have to make custom house rules in your online dynasty to prevent your friend from cheesing the system. On initial interest in top schools, every recruit will start with a list of schools they're interested in. When a recruit generates their initial top schools list, they evaluate every school's My School grades in relation to their ideal pitch and motivations. They also take into account their home pipeline and proximity to home. This means that recruits from Atlanta are more likely to have schools from the Southeast in their initial top schools. However, prospects will look to leave home and play for a school further away if schools outside the region better fit their needs or if they don't consider any schools in the area good enough for them. Similarly, most of the top schools for a prospect who values academics are going to be similar to one another. For example, as Rice, you'll often see the recruits who are interested in your school are also interested in Vanderbilt, Northwestern, and Stanford due to their high academic prestige. Depending on the motivations and location of a recruit, it's possible for them to be open to hearing from any school or already narrowed down to a top 8 or sometimes even a top 5. Once recruiting starts, recruits will narrow down their top schools over time, going from open to top 8 to top 5 to top 3 and ultimately a commitment. Your job is to stay above the cut line each week. Great recruiters will quickly recognize losing battles and pivot their resources to a different prospect with more promise of commitment. After advancing the week, you'll be shown a recruiting summary of any changes in recruit statuses so you can quickly identify where you need to spend time that week, and a screenshot to that effect here. Stage 1 is discovery. The first stage of recruiting is discovery, where your goal is to learn information about the prospect as quickly as possible. The faster you can learn information about the prospect, the sooner you can decide whether or not to pursue them. Discovering intel and information about the recruit is also pivotal in how you craft your pitch and sell your school to the recruit. Uncovering that information before your competition gives you a huge advantage. Uncovering that information before your competition gives you a huge advantage. That's a little better. Prospect identification. Discovery starts with prospect identification. You can find prospects to recruit from the prospect list. The prospect list defaults to the recommended filter, which identifies recruits who would be a good fit for you. The recommended filter uses the same logic as the AI when they're identifying players to recruit. So it works for you too. It takes into account the team, position needs, what pipeline a recruit is from, your recruit's interest in the school, and also their star rating. That helps. You can quickly filter the prospect list by using the L2 and LT position filter or R2 and RT filters, which allow you to filter by top prospects, star rating, and state. If you'd like more control in your search, you can use the advanced search feature by pressing the triangle or Y from within the prospects list. Advanced search also allows you to search for prospects that match a specific set of criteria. You can search for recruits using the following criteria: position, player type or archetype, state, minimum star rating, height, weight, handedness as quarterbacks only, and interest in your school. When viewing a recruit in the prospect list, you'll be able to see bio information about the recruit, as well as key recruiting information like whether or not they have a deal breaker. If they satisfy a team need, how interested they are in your school, their recruiting stage, and how many scholarship offers they have. Once you find a recruit you're interested in, you could go ahead and add them to your board by pressing X. Keep in mind, you can only have 35 prospects on your board at a time. Okay, I imagine you'll be able to take them off. That answers a question we had about that 35 target screenshot, which you can see here if you're watching. On team needs, when setting up your board, it's important to understand your current roster's strengths and weaknesses. How many players are graduating next season? How many returning starters are you going to have? Within any of the recruiting screens, you can press R3 or the right stick to quickly see your needs at every position. The team needs spreadsheet will show you an overall letter grade for each position, as well as a breakdown by school year for the players who are currently on your roster. It'll also show how many additional players you need at the position and the number of players you've signed and targeted at that position. How many players you need at a position will vary by scheme. For example, if you run a pass-heavy offensive scheme like the veer and shoot, you'll need 10 receivers, whereas a pro-style offense only needs 6. Your scheme is tied to your playbook. The only way to change it is by changing your offensive and defensive playbooks, which can be done at any time. As you continue to target and sign players, your team needs will update accordingly. There goes Michigan State's team needs here. On recruiting hours. Recruiting hours are the core currency to spend on recruiting actions and scouting each week. The amount of recruiting hours you have depends on your team prestige and what part of the season you're in. Teams with a higher prestige will have more recruiting hours each week. It's meant to model the recruiting resources a program has, with a higher tier program having significantly more resources available to them. For example, in the preseason, a 5-star program will have 1,000 recruiting hours compared to only 350 for a 1-star program. The time of year also impacts your recruiting hours. During the preseason and off-season recruiting, you don't have to prepare for a game each Saturday. As a result, you'll have significantly more time to spend on recruiting than you do in the heart of the regular season. In addition to the maximum recruiting hours you can spend in a week, each prospect has a maximum number of hours that you can spend on them in a given week. The default maximum is 50 hours, but this can be increased to a maximum of 70 hours with the always be recruiting ability for that position. ABC. Love that. on recruiting board. The recruiting board is where you'll spend the bulk of your time in recruiting. General layout of the board will be familiar to many. On the left, there's a list of all the recruits who are currently on your board. Each recruit shows high-level information about their status, including how many hours you've allocated to them, how much you've scouted them, if you've offered a scholarship, if you've scheduled a visit, their stage, and their interest level in your school. You can filter the list using L2 and LT. For example, you can filter by prospects and who are ready for a visit. Prospects you haven't offered a scholarship to, recruiting stage, position, and more. You can sort the board by national rank, interest, status, and recruiting stage. And of course, the board can also be manually reordered using R2 or RT. Selecting a recruit allows you to dive deeper in and begin interaction with them. At the top of the screen, you'll see bio information about the recruit, as well as a large bar with stages on it. This bar represents the recruit's overall progression towards each stage and ultimately committing to a team. Your cutoff levels here. The dark area of the bar is how much the recruit progressed over the last week. Within the overview tab, you can see a summary of where each school stands. Similar to the top bar, each school has their own bar, which represents their progression with the recruit. The top school's list is a zoomed-in snapshot of the recruit's progression to the next stage. Once a team fills their bar, the recruit will progress to the next stage, and the top school's bars will be reset. Any teams below the cut line will be locked out and no longer able to talk to the recruit. On scouting, before you start offering scholarships and deciding your limited recruiting hours, and dedicating your limited recruiting hours and resources to prospects, it's important to make sure you're targeting the right ones for your program. During the preseason, you're only able to scout and offer scholarships, so it's a great time to scout players and ensure you're targeting the right prospects. In College Football 25, we're introducing a new scouting system designed to represent the ambiguity and progressive discovery of a high school player's skills. And a couple snapshots for you there. On Frank Mahoney, 5-star. Looks like he's going to be great. Prior to scouting a player, you'll only be able to see their star rating, height, weight, hometown, position, and archetype. You'll see question marks on their attributes, abilities, and development trait. The attributes represent the top 10 ratings for their archetype. And each attribute has 4 states of scouting. Unscouted is represented by question marks and is the default state for every recruit. Partially scouted, at which point you'll see horizontal bars appear. Left side of the bar is 0 and the right side is 99. Within the bar is a gold zone that covers 25% of the bar's space. The player's true rating for that attribute is somewhere in this range. Mostly scouted is a mostly scouted attribute bar. You have a much clearer picture of the prospect. At this point, the gold zone only covers 10% of the bar, so the range of the prospect only 10%. And of course, fully scouted, when a rating's fully scouted, you know exactly how good the prospect is and their exact attribute rating is revealed. Each time you scout a prospect, you'll reveal a limited amount of information about them. Sometimes scouting a player will fully scout an attribute, while other attributes may only be partially scouted. Additionally, each scouting action will also reveal physical and mental abilities. While attributes and abilities are able to be scouted, a player's development trait is not. When we talk with coaches about identifying a player's dev trait, they overwhelmingly said it's an intangible factor that's difficult to identify without a distinct intuition and direct in-person contact with a recruit. As a result of our discussions, the primary time you'll be able to unlock a prospect's dev trait is on National Signing Day. However, if you own the mind reader ability, there's a chance that you'll learn their dev trait when you spend time with them during their official visit. The coaches we talked with also described how the level of ambiguity and uncertainty around a player's skill set is higher for lower star-rated players. This is because of how much visibility the top prospects get from social media, scouts, and high-profile camps. Conversely, lower star-rated recruits generally have less visibility, which leads to a greater level of uncertainty and unknown what their true skill is. This creates an opportunity to find a diamond in the rough. We've modeled this uncertainty and unknown with our gem and bust system. When scouting a player, there's a chance you identify that their true skill is actually better or worse than their star rating indicates. For example, a 4-star bust is really a 3-star quality prospect, while a 4-star gem has the skill level of a 5-star. Of course, even if a player is a bust, it doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad player. A 5-star bust is still going to be pretty gosh darn good. The system creates a lot of variance in lower star-rated prospects and provides you with the opportunity to build your program with high-quality players who slip through the cracks of the recruiting rankings. Landing top blue-chip prospects is incredibly difficult, so it's going to be a highly effective recruiting strategy to build your program. Think back to the rise of Boise State and the consistency of Oregon State in the early to mid-2000s. Both these programs excelled at finding gems who were under-recruited and overlooked by big schools. On finding the ideal pitch, once you've determined the prospects meet your initial criteria, it's time to begin uncovering intel about their motivations and what they care about. Remember, every prospect has 3 motivations they care about, which comprise their ideal pitch. Your goal is to discover their ideal pitch as quick as you can so you know if their motivations align with your program and what you're good at, so you have the information you need when you begin pitching in stage 2. In stage 1, there's 5 recruiting actions you can use to uncover information about the prospect. In addition to uncovering info, you'll also be able to gain some influence with the prospect. Each action has a recruiting hour cost and a corresponding benefit. The more hours you spend on a recruit, the faster you'll uncover information and the more influence you'll gain. You can increase how fast you uncover information and the amount of influence you earn with the most influential ability, which gives a bonus to recruiting actions. The 5 recruiting actions are as follows. You can offer a scholarship. Scholarships show the prospect you're very interested. As a result, you'll gain a small weekly influence bonus with the prospect after offering them a scholarship. Additionally, you won't be able to bring them on campus for an official visit or receive a commitment from a prospect until you've offered them a scholarship. You could search their social media. Spend some time scrolling through a player's social media to learn a bit more about them. This will give you a very small amount of influence when they see you like their story. Just be careful to not like an image from 3 years ago. Fair enough. Good comms. You could use that. That's good advice any which way you cut it. You can DM the player. You can message the player directly on social media to start a conversation and learn more information about them. DMs will give you a small amount of influence as you start to build that relationship. You can contact friends and family. Make a few phone calls to a player's family and close friends to learn a lot more about what the prospect values. This action will gain a significant amount of influence with the prospect when word gets back to them that you called and when grandma starts raving about you and the program at Thanksgiving dinner. And you can send the house. From the recruiting coordinator to every other coach on your staff, send every available resource you have after a prospect to gain as much influence with them as you possibly can. As you uncover their motivations, they'll no longer display a question mark. If the motivation displays a red X, the recruit doesn't care about it. And if it displays a green check, it's one of their 3 motivations they do care about. So every player's only going to have 3 checks. And your hope is that your stats from your school match up well with the things that they think are important. With this added depth in recruiting, we wanted to make sure that recruiting did not become a monotonous chore that took a significant amount of time each week. With this in mind, every recruiting action is set it and forget it, meaning they'll stay week over week until the recruit either locks you out, commits, or you decide to change your recruiting actions. One more time. They didn't want it to become a monotonous chore. With this in mind, every recruiting action is set it and forget it, meaning they'll stay week over week until something happens with the recruit. Nice. An example there, a couple screenshots. Apparently getting close to halfway. In stage 2 comes your pitch. After the recruit narrows their top schools to 5, it's time to begin pitching the prospect on your school and what you have to offer. By this point, you should have a good amount of information about the prospect and what they care about. The more information you have, the more surgical you can be with your pitch. If you don't have much information about the prospect, you'll effectively be flying blind and risk pitching them on something they just don't care about. If your pitch doesn't align with their motivations, it can actually have an adverse effect on their perception of you in the program. Not paying attention. When pitching a prospect, there's 2 different pitches you can use. A soft sell awards a moderate amount of influence when choosing the correct pitch. It also limits the downside risk and penalty of pitching the prospect on something they don't care about. This is the best when you have some idea of what the recruit is motivated by. Or a hard sell provides the most influence in choosing the correct pitch, but also comes with the largest penalty if you pitch the wrong thing. It's best to hard sell the recruit when you know their ideal pitch or if you're just desperate and hoping for the best. After selecting a pitch type, you'll then be able to select your pitch. Each pitch is a collection of 3 motivations, and there are 20 pitches in total. For example, the Sunday-bound pitch sells a recruit on your school being a championship-level contender, its conference prestige, and your school's track record of sending kids to the next level. How well the pitch aligns with the prospect's motivations, as well as your associated My School grades, will ultimately determine how well your pitch lands with the prospect. You can increase the impact of your My School grades with the upsell ability. If your school does not perfectly align with the ideal pitch, if you're looking for a way to get a competitive advantage, you can sway the prospect and change their motivations. Successfully swaying a prospect will give them a second ideal pitch that's only available to you. It's possible that the second ideal pitch also creates a third ideal pitch combination as a result. Your chances of successfully swaying a prospect increase the more overlap there is between their ideal pitch motivations and the pitch that you're trying to sway them on. It's possible to sway them on a pitch with 0 motivation overlap, but it's a very low probability of success that happens. For example, let's say the prospect's current ideal pitch is hometown hero, which includes campus lifestyle, proximity to home, and program tradition. To increase your probability of success, you would want to sway them on a pitch that also has 1 or 2 of the hometown hero motivations. In this example, let's sway the prospect on the college experience pitch, which includes academic prestige, campus lifestyle, and stadium atmosphere. If the sway is successful, the prospect will now care about academic prestige and stadium atmosphere in addition to the 3 motivations they already cared about as part of their ideal pitch. A successful sway gives you ability to pitch 2 or more ideal pitches for maximum influence. You match them to your school's A-pluses if you have them. It also provides you with the opportunity to more closely align the prospect with your school's strengths. This is an incredibly powerful action, and if used properly, can separate you from the competition. There is a lot in that paragraph there. That's a lot. And stage 3, naturally, your close. Final step in the recruiting journey is to close. This is when you bring the prospect in for an official visit and attempt to leave a lasting impression with them. In order to schedule a visit with a prospect, they must be down to their top 5 schools, and you need to have offered them a scholarship. No recruit wants to take the time to visit someone that won't even give them an offer. A recruit can only take an official visit to a school when they're on a bye week or when they have a home game. Additionally, schools can only host up to 4 recruits in a single week. When scheduling a visit with a prospect, you'll be charged 40 recruiting hours. The cost of schedule a visit does not count toward the maximum number of hours you can allocate to the recruit in a week. This allows you to continue your normal recruiting of the prospect in the same week that you schedule a visit. Set it and forget it. A visit is broken down into 2 main parts, scheduling and activity. Timing is everything when it comes to scheduling a visit. Waiting to bring in the recruit for a big-time rivalry game late in the season could have a lot of upside, but also carries the risk since there's a chance the prospect will commit elsewhere prior to the visit date. Who you play the day of your visit also matters. Every visit during the regular season comes with a set of game day stakes, which determine the influence bonus you'll receive with the recruit for winning the game and the potential downside for the loss. The stakes are set by the importance and visibility of the game the prospect will attend. Let's be honest. Nobody wants to go to a game in a weak environment. Playing a lower tier opponent will provide very little upside and major downside if you lose. Conversely, playing your rival who's also a top 5 team will have the potential to leave a lasting impression. Of course, you can avoid any risk entirely by scheduling during a bye week, but then you get no game-related bonus at all. You better make sure you win. Finally, the other prospects who are visiting that weekend can have a positive or negative impact based on whether or not their positions are complementary or competitive. For example, having a quarterback and a left tackle visit at the same time will give a complementary bonus, whereas scheduling 2 quarterbacks on the same day is considered a competitive visit and will negatively impact both of their visits. After setting which date the prospect's going to visit, the next step is to select what they're going to do on their visit. There's 14 activities you can do during a visit, and each one maps to a prospect motivation. 14 activities for 14 of the motivations for the 14 My School grades. Similar to pitch is the alignment of the recruit's interest level in that activity, and your My School grade will determine how much the recruit enjoys the activity. Nailing the visit can often be the difference between bringing in a top 5 class or being left at the altar on signing day. If things go well, there's a chance that the recruit will verbally commit to your school following the visit. While you should feel good about securing a verbal commitment, it's critical that you stay on top of things until they sign their letter of intent on signing day. If a prospect's verbally committed and they have a deal breaker, they'll decommit from your school if you fall below the required grade threshold prior to signing day. Once a player is signed on signing day, you got nothing to worry about until they arrive on campus. And next challenge is keeping them happy and out of the transfer pool. A few screenshots listed here. And Brian McCadley landed by Bama. The rich get richer. Unbelievable. Hey, coach, I'm sorry, but I've decided to leave. Over the last 3 years, the transfer portal has completely reshaped college football and how you build your roster. While it can be used to quickly upgrade your roster, it can also gut your program if a mass of players heads to the exits. Just like recruits, players on your roster can also have a deal breaker, and any recruit that has a deal breaker will keep their deal breaker when they join your roster. Remember, deal breakers can be thought of as a promise between you and the player. If you fail to uphold your end of the deal, there's a chance they leave in the offseason. The corresponding my school grade falling below the threshold does not guarantee that they'll leave, but the probability of a player transferring after their deal breaker has been violated is driven by their overall, with higher overall players being more likely to transfer. Keep in mind that every action you take throughout the season has the potential to impact your my school grades and therefore increase a player's chance of leaving. A perfect example is when the coaching carousel, where coach firings or coaches leaving for new jobs could immediately impact the team's coach prestige grade, resulting in players entering the portal. In addition to players entering the portal, high overall players may look to go pro and enter the draft if they've been in the school for 3 or more years. Players who are entering the pro draft will display the round they're projected to be drafted in. Once a player has decided to leave, you'll have an opportunity to persuade them to stay. The chance to successfully persuade a player to stay is determined by their overall and your coach prestige. Higher overall players will be harder to convince than low overall players. However, keep in mind that you only have a limited number of persuasion attempts. The number of persuasion attempts you have is determined by your coach prestige. The higher prestige, the more attempts you'll have. You can increase the number of persuasion attempts with the gift of gab ability, and you can increase your chance of successfully persuading a player to stay with the roster retainer ability. Both of these abilities are available in the program builder archetype. After advancing a week, you'll be able to see the pro draft results, which show where players were drafted. When creating the pro draft results, we use real-world data and pro draft trends to inform when players are drafted based on their overall and their position. I think it's best if you play elsewhere. While players have the opportunity to leave via the transfer portal every season, you'll also have the opportunity to make roster changes. Every offseason, you're required to get back down to 85 players on your roster. Unfortunately, that means if you're over the 85-man limit, you're going to be forced to encourage some players to transfer and find a new home. Even if you're at or below 85 players on the roster, you can still encourage players to transfer in order to make room for new players the next season. And no, you can't encourage the brand new freshman you just signed to find a new home the moment he gets on campus. On the transfer portal, as we said at the beginning, one of our goals was to make the transfer portal authentically unpredictable. This begins with players leaving. Some schools may face a mass exodus of players, while others may be left untouched. Once all players have decided whether to stay or go, the transfer portal will officially open at the start of off-season recruiting. Off-season recruiting lasts 4 weeks in total, and transfers will make their final decisions at the end of it on National Signing Day. Just like in real life, this is a chaotic 4 weeks where players are committing quickly and team rosters are rapidly changing. Teams will have to constantly make quick decisions, sometimes with limited information. Do you want to continue pursuing high school recruits? Are there transfers who can immediately improve the roster? How much time do you want to spend discovering a transfer's motivations and scouting them versus selling them on your program? And how soon do you want to bring a transfer in for a visit? Every transfer is given a star rating based on their overall and as a national, state, and position ranking. Just like high school prospects, since people change over time, transfers are assigned a new ideal pitch and motivations after they transfer. Every player in the transfer portal has the same deal breaker that caused them to transfer originally. Their new ideal pitch will include the deal breaker motivation, and it will be relevant to transfers and their unique needs. After their new ideal pitch and motivations have been set, transfers will evaluate every school and generate a top schools list just like high school prospects do. They'll look at how their motivations align with each school and adjust for pipelines and proximity to home. Since 4- and 5-star prospects are in the highest demand, they know more concretely what they're looking for, and they'll only consider 5 schools. If you're not in their top 5, you're not going to be able to talk to them. Lower star rated prospects will vary in terms of schools that they're considering. Some will be completely open, while others will have as few as 3 that they're considering. Regardless of where they start, the process of recruiting a transfer is fast, and you'll need to make quick decisions. Your interactions with a transfer will be very similar to interacting with a high school recruit. Depending on their stage, you'll add recruiting actions, pitch your school, and bring them to your campus on a visit to try to close out the deal. So heavy overlap then between transfer portal and recruiting tools, it sounds like. When evaluating whether to target transfers or high school prospects, schools will look at each position on the roster throughout the season and monitor their immediate needs. If a position group does not meet their requirements, they'll hold a spot on their recruiting board for an off-season transfer who they believe can come in and be an immediate contributor. Don't be surprised if you see teams finish early signing day with a light recruiting class in preparation for a big recruiting push in the transfer portal. Of course, once they see the players who are actually in the portal, their priorities may change. Having a needed left tackle is nice and all during the season, but if there's a 5-star transfer quarterback who wants to come to your school, why turn him down? And on signing day, just like the real world, College Football 25 features both early signing day and national signing day. Early signing day takes place at the start of bowl season after the regular season has been completed. National signing day takes place 7 weeks after the national championship. On signing day, any players who have verbally committed to a school prior to signing day will sign, meaning they can no longer decommit. The majority of prospects will commit prior to early signing day, but some recruits may last late into the cycle. Those prospects, along with transfers, will ultimately sign their letter of intent on national signing day. Throughout recruiting, you could view the team recruiting rankings in the Top Classes Lab or the Recruiting Hub. Top Classes allow you to view the team recruiting rankings for high school prospects, transfers, or combined. You can also filter the rankings by conference. Any recruits who are unsigned after National Signing Day will stick around and become walk-ons in the offseason. With that being said, the days of a player who is actively recruited not committing anywhere and drifting off to the ether are over. No longer will you have to speculate and fantasize what happened to him. Did they fail to get into school because of grades? Did they have a change of heart and decide to try archery instead? Was it something you said? Now the team with the highest influence on signing day will get the player as long as they have offered them a scholarship. This was a huge quality of life improvement that we all felt was a must-have, and we are very happy to be able to deliver it. Couple screen grabs for you on position changes. Oh, sorry, that's not a position change. That's top classes for teams. Here goes position changes. On position changes, following signing day, you'll have the opportunity to change player positions ahead of off-season progression. This is especially important for any athletes you sign in recruiting as they don't have an actual position. If you forget to set an athlete's position, they'll be automatically assigned their primary archetype's position when you advance the week. Players will be able to change to any other position regardless of their original position. The position change spreadsheet will show you their projected overall at the new position, which archetype they'd become, and where they'd rank on the depth chart, and the number of players at the position. Once you confirm the new position, they'll receive a new set of physical abilities that are specific to that archetype. The physical abilities and tiers they receive are determined by their new attributes. Mental abilities will not change unless the mental ability does not apply to their new position. Something like a quarterback mental ability is not going to be left over if you move them to wide receiver, I imagine. On player progression, in college football, the offseason is the most impactful time period when it comes to player development. While players can improve throughout the season, the bulk of the progression and development happens during the spring and the summer. Every season we see players who put in work during the offseason and come back bigger, stronger, faster, and overall a significantly better player. Player progression in College Football 25 is no different. All about the gains. In Dynasty, players will automatically progress their attributes and physical abilities. Mental abilities cannot be upgraded, allowing for greater differentiation between players. Mental abilities cannot be upgraded, allowing for greater differentiation between players. Players will progress during the season based on their on-field performance, but the bulk of their progression will happen in the offseason. Off-season progression happens after the position changes stage, so that players will progress in their new positions. The amount of player progresses in the offseason is influenced by their school year, your coach abilities, and their development trait. To simulate the real-world difference in physical maturity between a freshman and a senior, younger players like rising sophomores will take larger leaps in the offseason than a rising senior. Similarly, a player's coaching staff will have a significant impact on their development. For example, motivators have the pay it forward ability, which awards bonus XP to a position group every time a player at that position is drafted in the first 3 rounds. Motivators also have the put in work ability, which increases offseason development for players in a particular position group. Progression will then be further modified by the player's own development trait. In College Football 25, there are 4 player development traits. Normal. Players are most common, progress at a standard rate, expect them to steadily grow over their career. Impact is level 2 out of 4. The type of player can really change a team. They'll progress faster than normal with higher upside. Level 3 out of 4. Star, a potential Sunday player. There are very few of these to go around, and they'll establish themselves early as fast learners. And the best of the best, level 4 of 4, is elite, the best of the best. These players will make a statement the moment they get on campus and have the potential to be an all-time great. Once a player's on your roster, their dev trait is known and can be seen in the player card, which can be accessed by pressing triangle or Y on the player on the roster screen. When a player is a recruit, their development trait is hidden until National Signing Day, unless you have the strategist archetype's mind reader ability, which gives you a chance to learn their dev trait when they come in for an official visit. We heard about that earlier. On skill groups, as opposed to progressing each attribute individually, for example, trucking, players will instead progress an entire skill group. Sounds familiar. A skill group is a collection of related attributes. For example, the running back power skill group includes trucking, strength, stiff arm, toughness, jumping, injury. Every skill group has a max level of 10. Each time you upgrade a skill group, it'll increase 1 level and progress all of the attributes within that skill group. With that being said, some players will have a skill group max level or cap that is less than 10. So some players can have a skill group max. You might be capped on some players. Skill group caps can be thought of as a player's max potential in the particular area. These will vary by player, skill group, position, and archetype. Once a skill group has hit the cap, it can't be upgraded unless the coach has the architect archetype and the limitless or put a ring on it abilities. Limitless provides a chance to increase a random skill cap every time the player levels up, and put a ring on it provides a chance to increase their highest skill cap after winning a conference or a national championship. An example of the player card here. So this player, Quinshawn Judkins, has 2 out of his 3 mental abilities, but 2, 3, 4, looks like 5 gold physical abilities. On mental and physical abilities, as Scott described in the gameplay deep dive, players can have up to 5 physical abilities and 3 mental abilities. Both physical and mental abilities have 4 tiers: bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. Physical abilities are determined by the player's archetype, while mental abilities are position specific. While progressing, players will look to upgrade their physical abilities if they meet the rating requirement. Every tier of a physical ability has an associated attribute requirement. This is also familiar. For example, in order to have a platinum workhorse ability, a player must have 95 toughness. As said above, Dynasty players cannot upgrade their mental abilities. So if a player doesn't come in as a freshman with a particular mental ability, there's no way for them to earn that ability through progression. Mental abilities are a lock. So Quinshawn Judkins is never going to have a third. He has 2 mental abilities, and that's what he's got. Headstrong and fan favorite, specifically. On impact players. Impact players are back, and a quick way for you to easily identify the key players on the other team. Every team will have at least one offensive and at least one defensive player who's an impact player. However, unlike the past, there's no limit on the number of impact players a team can have. Yeah. Explosive offenses with playmakers everywhere might have 5 or 6 impact players across the board, letting you know straight up that they got dudes and they are about to cook. There goes Georgia with quite a few impact players. At least one per offense and defense, though, minimum. On managing wear and tear. With the introduction of the new wear and tear system, the week-to-week management of your players is more essential than ever before. As described in the gameplay deep dive, players can incur damage to body parts during gameplay. The more damage a body part is, the more it'll impact their on-field performance. In addition to on-field gameplay, players will also incur wear and tear damage based on Super Sim. Each week, players will recover some of their wear and tear damage. The amount of recovery is dependent on how damaged the body part is. For example, let's say in a previous game, your running back severely damaged his right ankle and his left shoulder was only slightly damaged. The next week, you can expect his shoulder to be fully recovered and his ankle to only be slightly recovered. His ankle will then be something you want to monitor within the next game. You could decide to sit him in an effort to allow him to get back to full health the following week, or you could play him at the risk of increasing how long it takes him to fully recover. In an effort to ensure that players are not disappearing in big-time games late in the season, we've set minimums that players will always recover to when advancing the week. There are minimum recovery thresholds. Good news. You can monitor your players' wear and tear damage by viewing the health tab in their player card. To access this, go to the roster spreadsheet. Press triangle on a player. This screen will show his damaged body parts and associated ratings impacts. Delivering the world of college football. One of the biggest challenges we face in the development of College Football 25 was the task of recreating everything that makes the sport of college football so unique. Unlike most professional sports where there's so much of the league is templatized, thought you would get me. I'm a philosopher. And where uniformity helps drive a quest for parity, that is a heck of a sentence. Well, from the top, I say, unlike most professional sports where so much of the league is templatized and where uniformity helps drive a quest for parity, college football is a sport that marches to the beat of its own drum. Yeah, no, we got to submit that for an Emmy. That is such a bar. It's a sport that thrives on a chaos created by that very lack of conformity. And while that lack of conformity makes college football so special, it also makes the task of building the world of college football so much more challenging. So let's talk about those elements that help immerse you in your coaching journey and the recruiting trail. A new day in college football. A lot's happened since we last made a college football game. Most notably, the entirety of the 4-team college football playoff format has come and gone. But this year starts a new day for college football with the 12-team format, and we get to experience it first in College Football 25. There it is, the college football playoff. There are a lot of intricacies with how the new college football playoff format that college football fans will need to get used to. During development, members of our team were able to participate in a mock selection committee session hosted by the College Football Playoff to help us better understand the process of how the committee determines their rankings. Cool. With the expansion to the new 12-team format, we're able to apply those learnings to project how the committee will value wins and losses in a world where going undefeated in a power conference is going to be less and less common, and the perception of schedule imbalance continues to widen. While the media and coaches polls run throughout the entire season, you'll need to wait for the calendar to turn to November before you start to get the first peek at how the 12-team bracket is shaping up. That'll be your first look at both the College Football Top 25 as well as how the playoff would be seeded based on those rankings and seedings rules. We created unique logic for our College Football Playoff poll to model how we anticipate the rankings to look in the new format. Generating a believable opinion-based poll is no easy feat, especially one where we're projecting what may happen versus being able to use real-world results as our reference point. You are what your record says you are is a misnomer in college football. So factors like school and conference prestige can impact where a school finds itself in a college football playoff poll. Each week of the season, the coaches, media, and college football playoff polls, along with the 12-team bracket update based on the most recent results and the final rankings and bracket, are revealed following the completion of conference championship games. Finalized after conference championship games. Ohio State v. Texas. Here you go, Ohio State fans. Some love for you there. Once the rankings are set, now it's time to seed the bracket. As many people reading this already know, the 12-team format is a 5+7 model, meaning that the 5 highest-ranked conference champions will get automatic bursts into the playoff, and the remaining 7 spots will be filled based on order of the final college football playoff ranking. 5 guaranteed, 7 up for the poll. The only way to get a first-round bye is to be one of the 4 highest-ranked conference champions. So an undefeated Notre Dame or any other independent, as well as the winner of the Pac-12, can be seeded no higher than 5 and will never be eligible to skip the playoffs' first round. Interesting. The 5th automatic qualifier that did not get a first-round bye will be seeded based on where they rank in the final college football playoff poll. Strength of your conference going to be important as it was in 14. One of the most exciting parts about the new 12-team format is that the first-round games will be played on campus. Hosting one of these games means you'll have all your home field advantage on your side as you take on your opponent as you look to win in advance. The playoff quarterfinal and semifinal games will take place at the bowls formerly known as the New Year's Six, the Orange Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Rose, Fiesta, Cotton, and Peach Bowl, which rotate annually each year of a dynasty, just like they will in real life. The College Football Playoff National Championship game has its own rotation of hosts. Starting with Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, the championship game will rotate through an additional 10 locations. So we'll have 10 natty locations before looping back around as you continue deeper into your dynasty. Not bad. 10 years before you repeat at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. In addition to the college football playoff, we also feature 34 bowl games, each using their real-world bowl tie-ins. So the R+L Carriers New Orleans Bowl will annually feature teams from the Sun Belt and Conference USA, and TransPerfect Music City Bowl will feature teams from the SEC and the Big Ten, etc. So they're staying faithful to that front. Just like the college football playoff bracket, you'll get your first look at the bowl projections in the first week of November each season. Each week that you keep winning, you can see yourself climbing the polls, playing in a more prestigious bowl, all while trying to earn a berth in the college football playoff. The new era of college football is here, and by the time the 12-team playoff happens in real life, you'll already be an expert on how the format works just by playing Dynasty mode. Full immersion. Meet your new neighbor. Speaking of the dawn of a new era, the latest round of conference realignment has dramatically changed the landscape of college football. And just like the 12-team college football playoff format, you'll get to experience that new reality first in College Football 25 with custom conferences. Every conference is set with their 2024 alignment. The Sun Belt is the last conference to feature divisions, and the scheduling logic has been set for both the current season as well as the future year rotation based on each conference's rule set. The SEC will accurately follow the 8-game with 1 protected opponent rotation, while the Big Ten will utilize their 9-game flex protect model, and so on. Wow, conference-specific rules. Cool. If you need a refresher of who's where, if you're looking to follow along with the conference races, you can keep an eye on everything on the conference standings screen. That's cool too. A little more localized hub for all your conference questions. You could be your own conference commissioner. If you prefer to reset conferences to a previous configuration, push forward to a potential future, or just blow everything up and make whatever conference membership you want and adjust the rules to your liking, you have the power to be the czar of college football and set things how you'd like them with custom conferences. You can reduce any conference to as few as 4 members, and you grow any conference to as large as 20. In addition to moving schools into different conferences, you can have a school go independent for the ultimate in schedule flexibility. But remember, it comes at the expense of a potential first-round bye in the college football playoff. Fair enough. You'll also have the ability to edit each conference's rules, determining if they will or will not have divisions, what those divisions' names are, how many conference games will be played annually, if the conference will have a conference championship game, and the location of that championship game, either at a neutral site location or the home stadium of the highest ranked teams. Get to switch around your conference rules in there. You'll be able to make adjustments to conference membership and rules when starting a Dynasty as well as at the end of each offseason, giving you total flexibility to change things however you want, both at the start of a Dynasty as well as change the landscape of the future based on your Dynasty results to keep things fresh and interesting as you go deeper into your coaching career. Moving conferences does not mean you're stuck with the old conference's jersey patch for the logo on the 25-yard lines. Those will dynamically update based on conference membership. Very cool. There you have it. James Madison, ACC. In Online Dynasty, only the commissioner can make conference changes. Nice. Let's talk schedules. College football is unlike any sport in that so many of the weeks of the season mean something special to so many different schools. It's not enough to make sure that the schedules rotate and that home and away status gets flipped for the new year. If it's a third Saturday in October, Tennessee better be playing Alabama. If it's Thanksgiving weekend, then the Iron Bowl, the big game, Florida State and Florida, and a host of other rivalry games better be on the table next to the turkey and the stuffing. Dynasty Mode's scheduling system will make sure those special games get filled in the correct weeks before adding in the rest of the conference and non-conference slate to get each school to their 12 games. Nice. So prioritizing event type of games to make sure that those happen and don't get overridden. For non-conference games, we've included as many real-world games as were announced by the time we had to lock schedules. So when you get to 2027 and 2028, the Florida State Georgia home and home series, okay, will already be scheduled. In 2029 and 2030, the Notre Dame Bama home and home will be scheduled. I'm not sure what they're saying there. I might be small braining. Our schedule generator will be used to fill out everyone's schedule to make sure that every school has 12 games for all 30 years of a dynasty. Kickoff games like the Duke's Mayo Classic and the Vegas Classic are here as well and will be scheduled in future years of Dynasty Mode. Another recent addition to the world of college football is the concept of Week 0. While the season still kicks off on Labor Day weekend for a majority of schools, some get things started the week prior in what's been affectionately termed Week 0. The authentic Week 0 games are scheduled for year 1 of Dynasty, and in your future years, Week 0 will get utilized. However, the bulk of schools will still put toe to leather for the first time in the traditional Labor Day week window. A preseason scrimmage, it sounds like. You can see your team's entire schedule on the team schedule screen or look at the schedule around the country week by week from Scores and Schedules. Each week, the broadcast type will be determined based on what is the biggest game on that week's slate. If your game's either a national or streaming broadcast, it'll be called by our team of Reese Davis, Jesse Palmer, and David Polak. The game of the week will be called by Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit. The crowd themes that our friends in Presentation talked about recently also appear in Dynasty. If your school does a whiteout, a blackout, a checkerboard, striping, etc., you'll see those crowd themes in the first home game of the season, for rivalry games, and if you're named as the game of the week. You could set your schedule. In addition to custom conferences, you can also customize your non-conference schedule via custom schedules every preseason. Conference games are designated with a lock icon and cannot be edited, but your non-conference games do not have a lock, signifying that they're fair game to go ahead and edit. Looks familiar, which is a good thing. Select any week that features a non-conference opponent or any bye week to be able to select a different team to play in that week. You can only have a maximum of 12 games, so you'll need to remove a game before trying to add a new one. When you select a week, you'll be able to see all the available opponents that you can choose from. Also familiar for us. Some schools will not be available if they're already locked into a conference game in that week, so you'll have more luck finding a larger set of available teams early in the season before most schools have started conference play. Custom schedule screens. You can also change if the non-conference game is a home or away game by simply toggling the home or away status on the schedule screen. To avoid the mass confusion of multiple people trying to edit schedules at the same time, the commissioner in an online dynasty is responsible for making all custom schedule changes. That's also good news. Team Builder in online dynasty. Come on, man. Team Builder is back. You can import up to 16 Team Builder teams in a private online dynasty. The commissioner will need to replace existing FBS schools with the Team Builder teams that they want to add when setting up the dynasty. Including Team Builder schools is only available at the creation of the league, and they can only be used in private online dynasties. So make sure your commissioner knows which school you want to use when getting the online dynasty started. Okay, new information. We're capped at 16 teams if we want to do Team Builder, half of the 32, which is interesting. And you have to bring them in when you start the league. So if you wanted to do a Team Builder online dynasty, you could only have 16 users. That might be better for the playoff. Okay, I don't want to... No commentary, just the text here. To burn a shirt or not to burn a shirt? The changes in the world of college football have not been limited to off the field. Handling red shirts have also seen a recent overhaul. And to keep in line with the real world, we've implemented the ability to play in up to 4 games in a season and still be able to take a red shirt. Each preseason, you'll have the option of selecting which players you for sure want a red shirt. And during the course of the season, you can monitor how many games each player has played in order to make the determination on whether you want to keep playing that player or have him sit the remainder of the year in order to preserve his redshirt status. Those 4 games can be played at any point in the season, so you can get a freshman some game reps early in the year and then hold him out until the end of the season and then bring him back in for a YOF run if wear and tear has run your roster down and you need a fresh body when the season matters most. Once a player has played in their 5th game in a season, they're no longer eligible for a redshirt that year, but will be eligible for a redshirt the following year. If micromanaging redshirts isn't your thing, no worries. Anyone who's eligible for a redshirt at the end of the season will have it automatically applied. On earning some hardware, college football loves to celebrate accomplishments, whether it's reclaiming a 100-plus-year-old water jug from a rival, like the annual Michigan and Minnesota game, a coach hoisting up the SEC championship trophy in Atlanta in early December, or the most outstanding player in college football striking the iconic pose just 1 week later. Oh, they can't say the word? Oh, no, yeah, they can. Okay. College football and awards are synonymous. Rivalry trophies will be on the line, and the winner of each contest takes home both the trophy and bragging rights for the year. Conference, bowl, and national titles will contribute both to your coach's pedigree, but also the school's program, tradition, grade. When it comes to individual awards, the conversation has to start with the most storied trophy in all of sports, the Heisman Memorial Trophy, which is awarded annually to the most outstanding player in college football. Each week of the season, keep tabs on the Heisman Watch to see who's in the running for the prestigious award as the Heisman race heats up as we get to the award being announced heading into the first bowl week. They got Ollie Gordon, an early favorite in this screenshot here. I like that, with Dylan Gabriel winning it from Oregon. In addition to the Heisman, we have other individual positional awards like the Lou Groza, Lombardi, the Unitas Golden Arm Award, among others. We also have the Broyles Award for the best coordinator in the country to go along with our Head Coach of the Year award. Preseason and postseason All-American teams are named annually as well. In the preseason, both first and second team All-American teams are named at the national and conference level. The postseason All-American teams feature the first, second, and freshman teams at the national and conference level as well. There goes your All-American list. You'll be able to follow the nominees and finalists for the awards from the college football tab, got me on my toes, CFB, not CFP, of the Dynasty Hub. Then the All-American teams are announced in the preseason as well as the first week of bowl season when the other awards are handed out. In addition to annual awards, players of the week on offense and defense are determined both at the national and conference level. Records are made to be broken. No career mode would be complete without the tracking of player stats and the record book. Season stats track individual player stats for the current season, while team stats track a number of categories at the team level for the current season. Career stats track individual player stats for the entirety of their collegiate career. And coach stats track the lifetime accomplishments of coaches. My man Papa Fausti with the 10 bomb on Twitch. Hold that thought, good brother. I think we almost made it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, brother. Hold that thought. Coach stats track the lifetime accomplishments of coaches and also serves as a way to get a look at each coach's current job security status so that you can get an early look at what jobs may become available on the coaching carousel. The record book covers player records on the career, season, and game level. Every stat category and every record is tracked at the national, conference, and team level. College Football 25 is the first time we've tracked records at a conference level, giving you one more set of milestones to try to break during a career. And Play for Pride stickers. For certain schools like Ohio State and Florida State, the Pride stickers that are applied to an individual player's helmet over the course of the season are as iconic as any other tradition in college football. Each season, the helmet starts fresh, and over the course of the season, based on players' performance, Pride stickers are added. Very cool. To give a visual representation of that player's accomplishments. Very cool. There goes a before and after. We work with each school to understand their fill pattern to make sure that the stickers are being applied over the course of a season, they're being added in the correct pattern based on how the school applies them in real life. All right, like Ohio State does the one side rather than kind of like the back and up. So what else? No Dynasty Deep Dive is complete without going through some of the utility features of the mode. Both online and offline Dynasty can go for up to 30 seasons, so they're not differentiating that. Offline and online, both 30 season cap. Up to 32 users can participate in a dynasty, online or offline. But it said earlier 16 team builder teams. Only one user per school. The commissioner is in charge of determining the settings for the dynasty. The roster file that's used at the league creation handles all custom conference and custom schedule changes and is responsible for advancing the dynasty to the next week or off-season stage. No pressure. Thanks. It's like they're writing that to me. You can keep track of everyone's status in the member's screen. Commissioner status can be transferred from the member's screen as well. Commissioners will have the ability to force a win in the event that the game wasn't completed. And for those of you that like to restart a game versus the computer that's not going your way, the number of times a game was started is tracked on the scores and schedules screen for all to see. Post-game speech. Congratulations if you've made it this far in the blog. Standing at nearly 17,000 words and 85 pages, this blog is a representation of how passionate this team is about the game. The level of dedication, commitment, and passion is what make this team special, and both of us proud to be a part of it. I was only talking about two people. Okay. The entire team has a do-whatever-it-takes mentality because we know how important this game, and more specifically, Dynasty Mode, is to you, the community. Like we said at the top, at the end of the day, everything's centered around one goal: satisfy the core community, because this is their game. Our entire team embraced this and tried our best to embody it each and every day. It's been an incredible journey, and we couldn't be more excited for you to finally experience it. Thank you to the entire team and to the community for your passion, excitement, and support for this game. With that being said, we'll see you again soon for the Road to Glory Deep Dive. Signed, Chad Walker and Ben Howmiller and the entire College Football 25 development team. We did it, chat. 17,000 words, 85 pages, read beginning to end. Oh, I hope it helped somebody that didn't care to read that. Hope y'all enjoyed. I'll see you on the 15th, man. 15th, 16th. I'm ready. Drop the game. Let's go. An hour and 43 minutes, Pudge. An hour and 43 minutes, chat. Hello. Greetings. Hello, everybody. How goes? What's the situation? Wow. 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 They signed every piece of that. Game of the year? I feel like maybe. Are you, dude, PFG, thank you for the bomb, man. BGC, Death Red, Canna FPS. My man Breeze is with the raid and the congregation. Breeze, thanks for checking in, man. Canna, Lobby Up, Pumbaa, Athletically Declined, Daddy Mudkip, Shieldsy, Whip Proof, and J. Keith PFG. Thank you so much, man. I'm sure I missed a bunch of check-ins. I saw a freaking Buffalo Boss. What's up, my boys? Hot Wife Alert checked in. Brother Remixed in the channel. What's up, Remix? Bearded Legend. What's good, dude? Amabe, so good. So good. I am more rather than less hype. What's good, Lurk? I'm a good weeder. I fumbled a couple little times, but not badly. I would like fumble one and then like, you know what I mean? A little bit, but then I'd catch it. And then I'd get hot. And then I'd get hot for a little bit. An hour and 43 minutes of me reading is crazy. Snack time, Ed, with the Prime. Snack time. Thank you so much for spending your Prime into your partner. That's very kind of you. We got follows from Lipsy, Brian B, and Snack Time. Nice. And Razor RE3 as well. Big thanks to Taco for the gifty to Walla. And I got the Zombie King re-up as well. A lot of exciting stuff. Yeah, I think it was worth reading, no question. Coach Starkey, you feeling this? You feeling this or what, dog? Come on, man. Snack Time, Ed, thank you again. My pleasure, man. My pleasure. Thank you for being here. Thanks for listening in the meantime. All right, I'm gonna spin a I want to put that out pretty quickly. I'm gonna spin a little thumbnail-y boy and get that pushed out in case anyone else also wants to listen to it. Yeah, PFG, no question, you did. You rang off the alert box. All right, my friends. Anybody YouTube checking in? Okay, no. Bro, I cannot believe they did a 17,000 word fucking dissertation on Dynasty mode. The care to write that is deep. There's a deep care taken there. Like, that's nutty. My man Buffalo Boss to Coach Starkey with 277. Buffalo Boss, very kind of you. All right, so chat, man. What are takeaways? Do you guys think? Hold on. I'm gonna start to spin this while we chat a little bit. About to go get the honey. Okay, my love. I'm almost done with stream and then getting back to work. Snack time. I agree, and I do know that there's fairly heavy overlap between the teams, which is not a bad thing. But I agree that this is just a new level. Is way more realistic. Yeah, I like that they're leaning into pipelines like they did. Hey, Hal Mel, truly my pleasure, bro. Glad you didn't have to read it yourself. I'm going to keep it relatively simple. Yeah. We'll figure it out. College football season will be the season that we finally figure out the YouTube and get it popping. Almost, bro. Almost. Okay, are we ready to break this news, Johnny? Your girl wrecked my legs yesterday. That's so funny that you said your girl when referencing Emily's friend here. Are we ready to talk about this? Hey. No, Big Bird, you fucking said it. 2-hour nap? 2-hour nap for the little honey. I love that. Yay! Johnny dating one of Emily's very cute friends, who we love very much. He's a sweetheart, and I actually love the match. Boring, appreciate that, bro. Boring, my fucking Danny Dime, it was weird. My Danny Dimes, I thought it was funny. I did a little edit of, like, Danny Dimes lowlights from that, like, first year of Dynasty. What a fucking flop, dude. But thanks, man. It was good for reps in any case. I'm just literally gonna put this fucking hour and 40 minute, I'm gonna do like a 3-second intro. This is what it is. This is how long the shit was. And I just read it to you. So, GG's. Yeah, snack time, hopefully. I'm gonna get it out like pretty much right now. It's a great match. And my man, Danny, with the gift eater muffin. 323. Ace Cannon, you enjoy that? Because I think people, I'm a big audiobook guy. Snack time. I'm a big audiobook guy. I appreciate you being positive too, man. Great to meet you. Glad you were in the channel for it here today. Ace Cannon, my pleasure, man. Hopefully it was coherent. What's up, Woo 2? Moving in a new house. Get closer to the area your kids grew up in. Closer to the brand new grandbaby. Nice, man. Oh, dude, grandbaby is very exciting. GG's, brother. I can't believe it's an hour and 43 of me just reading. All right, my dear friends at a congregation. Just on Twitter. I think that might have been part of the fumble. It was also late. It was late at night and on Twitter. So I think it got no play. It's so weird. It really has a lot to do with how many people see your tweet when you post it. My dear friends, I'm wrapping up live stream today. I'm going to keep... I got really exciting stuff going that is on behalf of the channel, but it's going to keep me offline a little bit more. We'll have our normal morning stuff. We got a thumbnail. I'm just going to throw this out on YouTube. Here's a reading of the deep dive audio. I'll post that on the Twitter. Maybe you guys could lob me a like on the thing or something like that, you know? Yo, hit Zakira, bro. I appreciate the positive reinforcement, man. I thrive off of that. That keeps me going, so I appreciate that. I think they would call it my love language. Weedon Boys, King. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much. All right, let's see who's outside grinding today. Let's see who is grinding. I think Murphy D's settling for a long... Well, he said 5 hours, right? Oh, no, he's about to raid out. Oh, Murphy D, if you're... Don't raid me. Don't raid me, Murphy D. I love you. I love you so much. Don't do it. Don't do it, respectfully, King. I think he said he wanted to be outed, too. Love that you told me that. Say far less than you just said, Cap Daddy. And it's my sub anniversary to JG in a 12-hour celebration. Chat, thank you guys for hanging out today and helping out today. Both of them. I appreciate the great company as always. I hope the reading was helpful for you. Thank you guys for hanging out. It was great to meet a couple new people today too, man. Hype is at an all-time high. Cannot wait to get hands on this freaking game. I cannot wait to get hands on this game, and we are almost there. So I'm going to post the deep dive audio read today, and I'll catch you guys again tomorrow. We'll see what's up. We'll see if Shador Sanders can make the Yoffs in his rookie year. I think we're real close. Real close. And then I said we were going to do it today, but I want to get going. We'll take some Dynasty mode sign up. We'll take some online Dynasty signups tomorrow as well. Real deal, bro. Thanks for raiding earlier, my man. Danny Blicky, Coach Starkey, Cap Daddy. Have a great rest of your day there, my guys. Potential evening stream at some point this week, but don't quote me on that. You know how that goes. Johnny, Weed and Boys, Blicky, Hitstick Man, thanks for hanging out. Brother Woo2, Ace Cannon, great company as always. Boring, love you, nephew. Have a great day, brother. Big Bird, Snack Time. Great to have you again, man. Thank you for the prime earlier. Brother Lurk, PFG with the nuke. Thank you so much. Unbelievable. Peace out, Cap, Zeke. Anybody still lurking? Big love, y'all. I'll catch you soon. Peace.